Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is August 16th, 2022, and this is episode 107 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ, and with me, as always, is the voice that is always in my head, even when it's not a Tuesday night. He is the voice of the unpop cultured. He is the man in the bubble. He is the legendary and great Mr. Radar. Say hi, Radar.
Hey, Radar.
How you doing, buddy? What's up?
Good. What's up, CQ? How you been, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. Well, actually, for a moment, let's not talk about me. How are you doing? It was somebody's birthday yesterday.
It was my birthday.
Woo woo.
It was my birthday.
How
and
was that?
It was interesting. It was really interesting because here's what happened: is I got up early yesterday and I went to the orthopedics for a MRI on my knee
Mm.
that I'm 60% disabled for.
Okay.
And turns out I've got cysts growing inside my knee, and that's why they hurt.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a knee replacement. They're trying to get me to 45. That's their goal. Try to get me to 45. So
what you got, like 20 years to go?
I got like just whatever. It's good.
Oh, man.
But hey, you know what? Hey, you do all that fun shit when you're a kid, and they're like, "Hey, you want to jump out of airplanes?" Sure.
Always a
Now your
good
knees
time.
painful.
Always a good time, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so quick shout out, everybody that's watching. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in. Got Heath, I see ya. Rob, what is up? Happy National Airborne Day all the way, baby.
Oh, as we're talking about my knee.
Speaking of knees,
Speaking of bad knees,
David, what's up, man? The sports bar is in the house. Check it out. Jackson Arnold, what up, player? What is going on? And Charles, how you doing, man? Oh, we got so many. I'm so excited. So
Yes.
excited. Tonight's going to be a good one. Tonight, I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it inside me. Oh, it's so good. So good. So much to talk about. So much to talk
we have a
about.
guest tonight.
We do have a guest tonight. We have from Miss Marvel, we've got the incredible Anjali Bhimani joining us tonight. I've been practicing that.
You're doing good. You're getting better.
Anjali Bhimani.
Yes.
She is an incredible actress, voice actress, multifaceted, stage and screen. She's done it all. Author. I mean, if you play video games, she's been a voice in Apex Legends, in Overwatch, in Fallout 4, or Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76. I mean, like so many things. She's been on shows like The Sopranos, Modern Family, just a crap ton. A crap ton. There's such a backlog of stuff, and we're going to go over all of it, as we are known to do. Hi, King. See you in the chats, man. What's up? So we got a lot to go over. I was just goofing off with this thing earlier. I was like, I put the logo I put my logo up on that. um, speaking of which, let me switch over to the screen that I meant to have on there before I was
So rudely interrupted.
before I was screwing around and tinkering. Where did it go? There it is. Where's our YouTube count? Checking in on our YouTube count. Yeah, because like I said, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're doing a big giveaway. What up? Giveaways. You know how much I love giveaways.
Yes.
You know how much I love giveaways. So we'll be doing that. And I think the Facebook page is getting there close too. It's in the high 800s, something like that. So we're not too far from the Facebook page as well. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Yeah, Greg's right. Anjali is one of those actresses you just recognize because she's been in so many things, right?
Yeah,
You might
absolutely.
not know the name, but she is a huge star in her own right. Captain Wayne, what's up, man? My fellow mutants. What's up, man? Couple of housekeeping things like we talked about last week. Just because I now have a PO box. I feel like it is only a matter of time until I get some inappropriate things showing up in it.
Yes.
But I'm one to roll the dice, so there you go. If you got the goods, man, PO Box 274, Monrovia, Maryland 21770 is the PO box. So I'm eagerly anticipating what just horrible things are gonna come into that box. So and like I made the note. It does. I was like, if it's something, if you want me to open it on air, just put a little note on the box, like only open live or something like that, or on air, or whatever it is.
Well, you are a brave man.
I know I'm crazy. I'm crazy that way. So there it is. There is the address. I have been warned. I can hear your dings on this side. Airborne Day. Hallelujah. It's Airborne Day. All right. We got so much to cover, man. You ready to get into it?
Yep.
Excellent. So, the first thing, such a hotly debated item that we kind of covered a couple.
Bad girl.
Not bad
No.
girl. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So if you remember, a couple weeks ago, I reviewed a certain military romantic dramedy called Purple Hearts. Everybody remember that thing? Well, got a little follow-up for you. So this is an article. I'm quoting the article. The new film Purple Hearts has been taking Netflix by storm, with the politically themed feature recently having the biggest single week for a film on Netflix for all of 2022, with a staggering 102.59 million viewing hours. And now the film's director says a follow-up is a possibility. So speaking with Variety, Elizabeth Allen Rosenbaum, who is also a producer on the film, revealed that nothing has been set in stone, but she also won't rule anything out. So there may be a Purple Hearts coming. You got it.
I don't know how. I don't know why they're showing up.
It's your routing tree, man. You gotta or mute your system sounds or something.
You can't, because then you can't hear me. I don't think. You're right.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Well, that's weird.
You're not a system sound. You're a mic. You're a microphone.
When I did that earlier, you couldn't hear me.
You didn't know what you're doing. So anyway, Purple Hearts 2 Electric Boogaloo at some point is coming out. I mean, if a movie And I'm imagining they made this on a shoestring budget. I'm imagining, compared to like all the other money that Netflix is spending. I'm imagining if they made 102 million hour views, part two is damn near a sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Greg's got a great point. Purple Hearts 2, but no Batgirl.
You know,
I mean, who's to say?
I don't hate it.
Wait, what?
I mean, if you had to pick one, you gotta pick one, buddy. You gotta pick one. Ones that get
that's
shot
a
in the
clear
nuts.
winner for me.
What,
Clear
Batgirl?
winner,
Yeah.
Batgirl. I'd much rather Batgirl than Purple Hearts 2. Jody, as Scott says, Purple Hearts 2. Jody strikes. I don't know. What do you guys think? Radar, what do you think? What's the, if part 1 is the story about
The story about Jody?
No. I'm saying this first one was about like they get married for the benefits, things go haywire, and then they somehow fall in love, regardless of blah 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 blah. What's part 2 about? He gets deployed. She gets not even deployed. Well, spoiler alert. He ends up in prison at the end of the movie.
Yep.
So
So Purple Hearts 2, it's gonna be called Anal Leakage.
No, I got it.
And he's gonna get
No.
raped in prison
Stop.
and he's gonna
No.
fall in love there.
No. Purple Hearts 2, a Dear John story. Right? Like a Dear John letter.
Dear
She gets tired of waiting and calamity ensues. Juan says military rom-coms are a hit at my house.
I have a
sorry.
question for them though. I have something I really want to know.
Okay.
If they're gonna do a Purple Part 2,
Mhm.
Purple Hearts 2, whatever it is,
Mhm.
can they actually pay some money for a military advisor this time?
I just keep thinking of these ridiculous names. Purple Hearts 2, more purpler. No,
Yeah,
purpler.
Nurple.
Purpler hearts. Right? Like, because, instead of like Purple Hearts 2, it'd be purpler hearts. More purple hearts. I don't know. Like, Die Hard again. Purple Hearts again.
What do you get on a? You don't get a. What do you get on a? Do you get a star for a second one? For a second award for it?
That's a
Do you
great
get
question.
A oak leaf? Who knows?
That's a great. I know of people
I
that
don't
have
know.
2. I think you just get 2. Like you get a second Purple Heart. I don't think there's like a.
You don't
This
wear
doesn't
2 on your
stack.
ribbon rack. It's got to have something. You got to have a different. You got to have some sort of device that goes on your Purple Heart to signify 2
Yeah.
awards.
Ooh,
You're not gonna have 2 on your ribbon rack. next to each other.
Scott makes a great point. That's true. Scott makes a good point. Part 2 doesn't have to be about the same people. It can be the same concept. Now, in the article, they did mention like, oh, these two had such a good. These two had such a good chemistry. I'd love to see where their story goes. So it seems to me like she's alluding to if there was a part 2 that it would be a continuation. Go ahead.
Okay, hear me out. Here's what happens.
Mhm.
He gets out of Leavenworth or wherever he goes, right, to prison.
Mhm.
Gets pardoned or some shit because Trump likes him. Okay. He goes back in the National Guard or some shit, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Gets his discharge changed to whatever. And he goes in the National Guard, gets called up to get deployed. He gets her knocked up, so he doesn't have to go. Or she joins, doesn't want to get deployed, so she goes out and gets knocked up to get away from the deployment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or universes collide. He ends up in civilian prison, and his jail cell mate, Ezra Miller, still beating off the rap of the Flash, right?
Yes.
And then turns out, we're going multiversal. Trump has
Fuck
to play
it.
himself.
Whatever. Let's break this fourth wall too while we're at it.
Yeah. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Whatever.
Do you really think it's gonna be worth a shit?
The
family care plan.
I wanna Was it Purple Hearts 2 Trichire for Life. That's the name right there.
Try to keep it live.
Trichire for Life.
I mean, how? But how could they really? I'm curious. You know what? Anything's fucking possible.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Maybe it'll be purple farts too. It'll just be a butthole that farts.
Yeah,
like an Idiocracy.
We've now beat that.
We've actually
horse
got
to
two
death.
Idiocracy. That's what's gonna be.
Okay. Oh,
Terry Crews
so yesterday I happened to tune in to the Monday edition right here on WTF Nation Radios,
wanted to. I was so mad.
and I happened to catch a little banter between Ice and Pookie. I think it was Pookie.
The shipwreck last.
Sure, I'm sorry, Shipwreck. And they had the audacity to insinuate that I'm a Marvel fanboy and that I don't give DC the time of day, or
We don't, because DC fucking sucks.
So I happened to throw into the chats, they said, "Oh, we got another Marvel person coming on, and where's our DC people?" I said, "Well, I would try to get DC people on if they could stay out of prison. Like if they weren't in court all the time defending themselves, I'd try to get them on the show."
In fairness, we've had a
We've had a few. We had Breck Bassinger, star of Stargirl.
Yeah, she's awesome. She should get moved up.
We had God, I'm drawing a blank on his name, from Legends of Tomorrow. Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Sadhim, from Legends of Tomorrow, and a couple of other bit players, but those are,
I've been really happy with the people we've had on.
Yeah, I think, man, Scott says it. To be fair, I wouldn't call you a Marvel fanboy because Marvel does tend to release way more quantity versus DC. There's just more to talk about.
Yeah.
So, in fairness, I'd like to take a minute. I wish I should have changed the logo to the DC logo. Let's talk about DC for a minute, right? We got some news.
Oh.
All right. So obviously Warner Brothers, who owns DC, merged with Discovery, and as part of that, that's why we've started seeing some of these big cuts, because the new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery is like, I'm going to shave off $3 billion from this company, and that's why we're starting to see these major cuts. Now, but
hold on a minute. But those films were already made. The money was already spent.
Correct. But it would still cost them more because you have to do marketing, publicity. You have to do, and the releasing of it actually costs money, right? The streaming service, the sites, the hosting, all that stuff actually costs money. But you're right. Yes, they spent a shit ton of money on this stuff and then dropped it. But here you go. Warner Brothers Discovery cost-cutting measures axed Max movies, HBO Max movies, Batgirl, and the Wonder Twins was a thing that was in production. The post-merger CEO, David Zaslav, I believe is how you say it, announced a DC course correction, and this was during the company's Q2 earnings report earlier in August, confirming that Batgirl was scrapped despite Warner Brothers sinking something close to $90 million into it, as the merger company focuses on producing big-budget, high-quality DC comic adaptations for theaters, including the upcoming Black Adam and, God forbid, The Flash. So, at the meeting, I wanted to quote this exactly. The CEO said this: "There will be a team here at the company with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. It's very similar," he says, "it's very similar to the structure that Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Kevin Feige at Disney." So basically, they're taking the Disney approach and they want to lay out they have the pillar at the top, the minds at the top, laying out a 10-year plan, and then everybody else will kind of just fall under it.
I like it. I don't hate it. I mean, we're stealing Marvel's idea, but it's fucking working for it.
I mean, but who?
And that's the only way. Okay, I'm going to argue this. This is the only way to get the congruity that Marvel has and to build an actual cinematic universe of what as they call it. The only way to get that is to have something like that, where you've got 1 or 2 or 3 people kind of calling the shots and directing traffic and saying,
Everybody
"Hey, this
can't
is
be
what we're gonna
doing.
do."
Everybody, it's like you got like a team of chefs, and everybody's making a different meal. Like the shit you put out the
But it's
course,
not even
it's
a
gonna be
different
terrible.
meal. It's different. It's entirely different.
One guy's
It's
playing
like one guy's
basketball.
making biscuits and gravy, one guy's making gumbo, and another guy's making fucking
Yeah.
some fancy ass mushroom bullshit.
Other dude's just
Like it's
jacking it in
just
the
all
corner.
over the place. Yeah, and then I'm over here eating Jack in the Box tacos.
So
Well, I have an idea, and I
but
want you to
here's
hear me out.
okay.
You finish. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
First to answer, Mike, I see your question. Doesn't Disney own Discovery? It does not. Discovery was owned by Nat Geo, and Nat Geo was owned by, or no, Discovery owned Nat Geo. Yeah, Discovery was its own company, and then
Yeah.
they bought Warner Brothers. So now it's Warner Brothers Discovery, or they merged, whatever it is. What I was saying was I like this idea, but for it to work, you gotta wipe the slate clean. And the
Yes.
problem is they aren't doing that. They are picking and choosing because they're gonna say, well, we're not releasing Batgirl and Wonder Twins, but The Flash, Black Adam, Aquaman 2 are still being released, and we're gonna talk about some other ones. But go ahead, say what was your point?
Well, first off, we'll get back to this a little bit. You can Aquaman and the Flash and Black Adam, and now Aquaman 2. You can integrate those separately with the same characters and stuff, right? Similar to what they did with like what Marvel did at first with Iron Man and Thor. You know what I mean? Before you made the Avengers, you have to have those movies that are introducing your main characters, right? So you can do something similar to that with those films and not necessarily have to completely redo everything, right? I mean, it would make sense too, but if you're gonna, well, it'd be nice to have these same actors kind of move on and progress, same as what Marvel did. Right, if you're going to have Jason Momoa as Aquaman, you know what I mean?
Gotta start fresh. Got to.
I don't know. Anyway, back to the thing. Okay, back to my idea, and I'm going to give this, and you can pitch this. Okay, I know you know people in Hollywood now with all your things. I want you to pitch this for me to them. Okay, and I just want like a little bit of creative credit. Okay, Disney owns Bear Grylls, right? And they do survival shows. So we have Bear Grylls drinking his own piss and Amber Heard making her contributions to this as well. And you can just like call it piss and shit. And remember like they had like the hippie guy and like the Army Ranger doing the survival show? Same thing.
Just when I start
Same
to
concept.
think,
People love polar opposites. And how opposite can you get than piss and shit?
just when I start to think that we're leaning towards some type of, like
Tell me that wouldn't work. You tell me
really
that wouldn't work.
providing information and really, bringing the news to the people, and we just kind of circle right back. Anyway, moving on. So
I'm just saying, dude. You're sitting here and you're like, well, you're trying to just hear me out, dude. Hear me out.
I'm hearing.
And it's we love when we have these different characters mesh.
I'm hearing. I mean,
yeah.
So,
Smash that more day.
Okay, so
that bone.
So this was interesting. According to Deadline, there are some things that apparently are moving forward, and there are some things that are not. And this is what insiders saying. So obviously, the Flash and Aquaman, as of now, are moving forward. Which I don't know if anybody saw this. Ezra Miller's people released a statement from him saying about how
prison?
It was saying he's sorry and he's dealing with some mental health issues. Like, I swear, it's just Warner Brothers saying, look, either you release this statement or we want all $300 billion we spent on you back. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, oh, I can't live off of, I gotta get him to do something. Anyway, that's besides the point. So we know those are moving forward. Along with those moving forward, season 2 of Peacemaker is a thing. James Gunn is directing and writing for every episode of that, so that's still happening. The Penguin spinoff of Colin Farrell from Matt Reeves' The Batman, that's still moving forward. And they're doing a Green Lantern Corps series This is a live action series, and it will be it's made by Greg Berlanti. He's the guy who oversaw that whole Arrowverse, like the whole CW Arrowverse. He was the Kevin Feige for that, and he's going to be bringing the Green Lantern Corps to the series. One other one that is still moving forward is the Latino-led Blue Beetle movie.
Like Latinx.
Latinx Blue Beetle movie, which I actually have a picture. I'm going to show you this. You got to see this. Where my pictures at? There it is. So I got to say, man, I mean, the comic or the costume looks good. I'm sure once they add like a little special effect, magic to it, I think it actually looks pretty decent.
No, it looks fine.
Yeah. If you got, I don't know how many people are Blue Beetle fans. It's not exactly the biggest property.
No.
But neither were the Guardians when they started. So that's still moving forward. But with all like that's why this doesn't make sense to me. That's the thing. That's why this doesn't make sense. Because you had Batgirl, which was pretty much done, and they're still shooting Blue Beetle. And it's like we're saving.
Maybe they
trying
can
to
make
save
it not
money.
shitty.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like to say that like, oh, we're doing this for cost savings and we're doing this because we're laying out a new 10-year plan, but now you're gonna pick and choose. I mean, it is what it is. The thing I will say is that other things that are not moving forward, because I know some people want to know what's not moving forward. There was supposed to be a Supergirl movie based on the Supergirl that's coming out of the Flash movie. That's not happening.
Mhm.
There was going to be a Static Shock based on the beloved classic, cartoon / comic book character Static Shock. That's not happening. There was a Black Superman movie that had Michael B. Jordan attached. That's not happening. And then again, the show that they had already shot, people already kind of forgot about it, but CW announced that they were doing Gotham Knights. Remember we talked about that, about like the kids of Batman and all the villains teaming up together because Batman had been killed and all this and all that. That was set to premiere in a couple months. That's been scrapped, completely dead.
Wow.
So a lot of things are getting cut, but yet other things are getting, I don't know, man. It's hard to know. And then, you got the Joker thing happening, a possible Batman, we already know the spinoffs, but another Batman movie in that universe. So you got like, it's just, I don't know, man. They're spinning so many plates and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how to rectify that in my brain. Maybe now I'm so used to one shared, continuity in universe. But, we had the Netflix spinoffs. We had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We had the Runaways and the other shows and Cloak and Dagger, which I'm bummed they kind of cut that show. It was a decent show. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see what the people are saying. Juan says if they're just copying the Disney strategy, but not Disneyfying the movies, then it's not a bad idea. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Mike says, if they are smart, they would only integrate Black Adam and axe Aquaman altogether. I mean, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Greg said, this might be the fastest it's ever gone off the rails. Amen.
Hey, not my fault.
And from our beloved U.S. Army WTF moments, CQ just totally not blowing off the fact that it's National Airborne Day on the premier military and veteran podcast network. I mean, it's not like it was founded by airborne people. You know what? I did say we started off.
We did.
Maybe
Right
tune
away.
in to the beginning of the show.
Right away, we
Just
did.
saying.
And we can keep talking. We're happy. We're happy it's Airborne Day.
Proud, man. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I got my wings, baby. I wear them proudly.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, it's technically. I don't know. That's my airborne. That's my insignia.
Yeah,
there.
his little dude's
Yeah.
wearing a
My
red beret.
red beret with my little unit. Yeah, we're proud. Airborne Day. God bless.
Mhm.
I think there's a second comment in the chats. I think was like fucking Airborne Day. Woo. Yeah. So, suck it, Ice.
Yeah.
I was talking shit on his show, so I guess it's turnabout's fair play.
I think we should get Heath's opinions on DC.
Yeah, Heath. Let us know. Let us know, man. Throw it up in the chats.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
You know what we should get?
Mm-hmm.
As they're talking shit in the comments, why don't you get Ice on here and have him tell his DC?
How much he loves DC.
But and this is and I'm gonna go back around though. I'm gonna circle back to my original thought process on all of it. Is they need to start making it good.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to have a congruent system like what Marvel has.
Yeah, that's fine.
They need to start putting out good fucking films.
Yeah.
And we bust balls that there's 40 different Batmans and there's fucking all kinds of other bullshit and whatever. And there can be, that's fine.
Yep.
Make them fucking good. Make them good. And I think that there's people who are trying to, but it's just hard. And I don't know.
It is what it is.
It is. It absolutely is. And we will just, we'll see. And then but let me ask you this at the core of it.
Mm.
And it's hard to say without seeing them film. But do you really think that cutting the Batgirl show was the best? If they're going to keep producing the other videos, from the whole thing. I mean, they're going to keep producing the other shows. Kind of why?
As a fan, I think the fans. Here's the thing: the fans are going to demand it. The more you tell them no, they're going to demand it, right? That's how we got the whole Snyderverse, fucking Justice League Snyder cut.
Thanks, fans.
Which turns out it was all bots anyway. But from a business point, I mean, I guess I don't understand it. It's okay. I put $90 million out for this thing. It's already done, right? Maybe lacking a few special effects, but how much do you truly save not moving it forward? Like, let's say another $5 million in special effects shots. Let's say another $15 million in, publicizing and advertising and marketing and all that stuff. The big push, $20 million. So you saved that.
Right.
Are you like, again, they know we don't, or they believe we don't, that it was so bad that they would have lost, like they wouldn't have recouped even that 20 million. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it would have been so bad that they make even less, which if something is that bad, I think more people watch it because you're like, dude, oh my God, this show is so bad. You got to see this. Like it's so bad that it forces people to watch. So I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand the thought process of like, we're going to just cut our losses at the finish. Imagine running a marathon and like you can see the finish line and you're like, you know what? I'm done.
But here's
tired.
the thing. And this is my retort to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we had this with Morbius. Morbius made, according to Wikipedia, $163.9 million in box office.
From both releases? It made like $7 the second release.
I'm just saying, $163.9 million worldwide. Okay. If they would have done that with Batgirl, even if it sucks, Morbius sucked. Everybody is in agreement.
It was a collective decision.
That film could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If Batgirl is on par with that, I can't believe it was that horrendous that they wouldn't have at least made their money back and not had a huge $100 million gash that they're got to fill.
Scott has an interesting point. It could be about the direction Batgirl was going, right? Maybe the narrative or the plot put them in a position that doesn't mesh well with what they're going forward. That's a possibility. My counter to that is fucking wipe the board clean and just start.
Absolutely.
Release it and be like, well, that was the end of that, and start fresh. Spider-Man 3 left off for Spider-Man 4. That didn't happen. Amazing Spider-Man 2 left it open for Amazing Spider-Man 3. That didn't happen. Just release it, make whatever you make, and then say, fuck it. We're moving on bigger and better things. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Like Greg Russell said, don't feel bad because nothing makes sense to DC either. So there's that. But I'm just saying, like, if Morbius can make that kind of money, 164 million ish, give or take, They could at least make their fucking money back. I feel like they should at least make their money back, and like you said, wipe the slate clean. Bye, see ya. We got a new one.
Even if you don't, even
Mhm.
if you make half your money back,
Yep,
that's
you've made
still
something.
less than the 90 million you're just flushing.
Right. And as we sit here, basically, like he said, DC sucks off dogs for quarters. I mean, that's kind of, and this is from
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But what I'm saying, this is from people who take this thing a little bit more seriously than some,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting here saying, "Come on, guys, you guys are fucking up."
Yeah.
Like, maybe they need to hire us, man.
that's definitely it. I just got to highlight. Leon had just the funniest comment. It made me giggle. The director's cut of Batgirl has 90 minutes of unreleased footage. Get it? Get it? Because the whole movie never came out. That's good. You get a gold star. You get a sticker.
I wonder if we couldn't. I'm surprised they at least didn't put it on like HBO Max to.
That it was dude. It was made for HBO Max. Like it
No,
was
no,
going
but
to
I'm
be a
just saying,
direct
like
to streaming.
if they were gonna put it direct to streaming and do kind of like what they did with like I don't know at the beginning of the pandemic where you had to pay the extra $7 or whatever to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
They
Whatever.
would have done that. They could have made some cash back. They could have done something that would have been fine.
I'm over it. Next
No,
topic.
You're not over it.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
Is there something I'm supposed to watch tomorrow?
Yeah. In
What is
fact,
that?
first reactions of She-Hulk have hit the airwaves. Some industry insiders have gotten to see the first 4 episodes. See, I'm still not at that level. That's all I want. I don't want to be rich and famous. I don't want, making thousands of dollars and crazy sponsors. I just want to be at the point where they're like, hey, check out, here's the first 4 episodes of She-Hulk before anyone else gets to see it. Fucking let people know what you think. Like, I want to get to that point. That's all I want. That would be the biggest win for me. Anyway, that's just me being me. So the first reactions for She-Hulk have come out for the first 4 episodes. No spoilers, obviously, because people are being very careful what they say. But here are some interesting quotes that I found out there from people that have seen it. She-Hulk has a surprising amount of ties to the rest of the MCU, both past and future, and some of the most legendary credit scenes on almost every episode. That's one comment.
Okay.
Another comment said, simply stellar. It starts off really fast, but as it went on, it grew on me and is easily one of my favorite MCU shows. The setting is pretty grounded, but it does a great job at establishing itself in the MCU. Last comment I'll read. I've now seen the first 4 episodes 3 times each, and they're everything I want them to be, and so much more. The show is breezy, unabashedly weird, and wildly entertaining. This sets a new gold standard for what MCU shows are capable of. So pretty glowing reviews. Now, the caveat on that, I'm pretty sure those people that got early access are the kind of people that are already Marvel fans and aren't the kind of people.
But I mean, you're
that
a
would
Marvel
bash it.
fanboy. They could send you.
They could.
They could just send you to those things.
I'm too honest. I'll tell you what I really think.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what I really think. But so, we haven't seen negative reviews. I scoured, at the worst, people were like, oh, it's a fun show. It's doing its thing. That's the worst review I've saw. I really expected to hear a lot about, the CGI being not as great or whatever, but I'm guessing they really went in crunch time and punched up the CGI, being that so many people had a thing to say about it. Mike Larson says, I'm sure Ice can get you as the industry insider for Purple Hearts 2. All right, good callback. All right. That's good. Good. The gold standard is a bold statement. That's right, Greg. That is, I said this before, and I wish I had a clip. I gotta get an instant replay button. But I said that before, where I really do think this can be a great show. My concern was that the CGI would be distracting I had two concerns: the CGI would be distracting, and that they were stuffing too much into it to focus on a clean narrative. Right? You had too many moving pieces to get a nice, clean narrative for the show.
Now I'll
Apparently,
say
apparently
this:
they did it.
if it's fast paced and going, I don't hate that.
Right. That's what I thought. Somebody said it's fast paced, like that's a bad thing. The thing that stood out about these three comments, they address a lot of issues that people have had on other shows. It doesn't feel connected to the MCU, right? Like that was Moon Knight's thing. They're like, well, it's great and all this, but it doesn't feel like it's connected to the rest of the MCU. Okay. Starts out really fast, right? That was complaints about WandaVision. It's so slow. It takes so long. It doesn't get going. I don't know what's really happening. Blah blah blah. And there was another one. The unabashedly weird. I like that. I like that as a statement because no, I'm sorry, I was gonna say Miss Marvel. She-Hulk as a character, even going into the comic books, was doing that whole Deadpool shtick of talking to the reader. She was breaking character, even going into yeah. I can hear myself. She was breaking the fourth wall. She was doing that stuff just like Deadpool was, and I'm glad to see that they're bringing that forward to the show. I mean, how cool is that to have a character that can kind of wink, wink, nod, nod to the camera in character? I don't know. It sounds fun. It sounds fun. I'm hopefully optimistic for a fun show, fun ride. And if it starts off fast, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yep. I don't hate the idea of it starting fast. I don't hate that idea at all. Yeah. I'm curious as to how good it's really good. Because I feel like in all these other shows they've come out with, Falcon and Winter Soldier, for example, nobody got to see the first 4 episodes. Like I said, this is like the first 2,
right?
The release. It seems like they've really been pushing She-Hulk, so it makes me wonder if it's gonna be any good.
You're saying, okay, I see your point.
Marvel's usually really they hold their cards really close to their chest.
Sure.
And they seem to be wide open with this one on a lot of things. Even in the trailers, they've had a lot of
really putting it out there.
Yep.
When they're typically pretty reserved. You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
They usually like to have those. They use it maybe the people that saw it, they had to sign the release, not put any spoilers out, and da 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 da. I'm sure they had to do something along those lines.
Of course.
But it just sure seems that even those kind of people don't get to put. You got these YouTube guys or whatever that do these reviews on the movies, and they even from the first show, they're drawing conclusions to what's going to happen with the rest of it.
Sure.
We do that a little bit. We talk about it. I think it's mutants, obviously, but I mean, they're being so. I don't want to say careless, but it almost seems to be that they're just so open with it that they're just really pushing hard with it, and that makes me wonder.
It makes yeah. Do you think that maybe? Because again, I mean, billions of dollars are in this industry, right? Everything's at stake. Do you think that maybe they had the finger on the pulse and did a pulse check, kind of like, people aren't as eager for this one, or people aren't really talking about this one, and so they felt like they had to amp it up?
Maybe.
This is because when the Disney Plus shows really started, let's remember, they leaned heavily on established characters. Wanda.
Yes.
Vision. Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, like all these shows were established. Hawkeye. And then came the switch, the Miss Marvel, the Moon Knight, and now She-Hulk. Maybe they felt they don't have the built-in fan base. And I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a good point.
But looking at someone like Wanda, we'll go back to WandaVision. Wanda was a character, but she wasn't like the biggest player. Those of you, not me, that knew the power that Wanda had or could possibly have in the MCU were excited to see more about Wanda. Right? I didn't give a shit when it first came out. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, fucking Wanda, whatever. But Vision's
Yeah.
dead. I saw Vision dead. Now he not dead. How come he not dead? You know what I mean?
He not
Like
dead.
that was where I was at with some of it. I was like, what we got a new Vision? Tight. I like Vision. Wanda's kind of whatever. She's just hide underneath there and get bombed, bitch. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, and they use these to kind of introduce new characters and introduce these things. You know, like. So I'm just kind of I don't know, like from the beginning they've used these Disney Plus shows to kind of one, expand the story of these characters, and two, introduce new characters.
Mm-hmm.
From Wanda's boys to
Everybody.
you know, everybody basically.
Everybody
And
that's in there.
so yeah, all these ones have kind of been other than one division is a little bit different, but it kind of not like they've all been kind of shutting down, closing one chapter, opening another chapter. Hawkeye or Falcon and Winter Soldier. They're closing one chapter, opening another chapter.
Sure.
Now these other ones, they're still opening new chapters. They're just not closing old chapters.
Mm.
And I wonder, like I said, like when it first started, Falcon Winter Soldier is a great example of this. For me, they really got a chance to dive into those characters and bring them out, right? Where you had, 6 hours, 8 hours in the series instead of 2 hours or 3 hours of a feature
I
film.
mean, not even, because how many minutes of that feature film are they really even in?
Right, exactly. So now we're taking these long series and you're getting a chance to really introduce these characters and give them some depth, which I think moving forward, as you take someone, and move them into the greater MCU and give them a feature film or put them in a feature film. You put someone like what's her name? For Hawkeye, right?
Oh,
You
Kate
put her
Bishop, yeah.
Kate Bishop, you put her into a new Avengers, the next Avengers movie, whatever. You feel a connection with her now.
Mhm.
You know a little bit of her backstory. It's not like now she just doesn't show up. Like Hawkeye just shows up on the fucking scene and he's Hawkeye,
Right.
right? Or Scar, all these people just show up the fuck up. Black Widow just shows up. She's just Black Widow. Tight. We don't get any background to them.
Mhm.
And so now we're getting that before they're really introduced into the greater MCU and in a large role. So I think that's kind of helpful for that. But as we look, She-Hulk, are they going to do that with her? Are they going to do that with
I mean, absolutely. My thought
Captain
is,
Marvel?
Well, that's the thing.
Miss
Like
Marvel?
Miss Marvel, we saw at the end. There's a little tease of Brie Larson, and because she's going to end up in the movies, the Marvels.
Right.
We don't know yet. There's no official word about like where this seed will plant and grow to.
Mhm.
I have a feeling again. New event. We know an Avengers movie is coming. We know Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are coming. So
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Okay. Ms. Marvel versus America Chavez. How they introduce those characters. How much more we feel connected to Ms. Marvel than we do to America Chavez.
that's a solid
Because
point.
she was kind of, I mean, she's going to be a big part of this.
Yeah, she
should
will
be a
be
big part of
moving. Yeah, moving forward, she will be.
But we just kind of got like, oh, here she is. She's got a little bit of powers. Hi, bye, see ya. Doctor Strange. This is a Doctor Strange movie. This is an America Chavez movie.
Right. But again,
And so, but when it's Miss Marvel, we get to see her as a person. We get to see her in her home life and struggle with discovering her new powers and evolving these and kind of taking control of them and figuring out her powers and who she is and where she's from and all these things. You don't get to do that with Chavez. A little bit, you get to scratch the surface.
yeah,
You don't get to
tease, yeah.
actually do that.
Well, we'll see her
So-
more. We'll see her more moving forward. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But so that's just why I'm wondering, like, do you need to have the big fanfare and everything of having everyone watch the first half your season is out basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Which, sorry, to answer Greg, so your question is, what's the episode count for the series? For She-Hulk, it's 9 30-minute episodes.
yes.
So, yeah, like you said, almost half the season is,
Yep.
for some people, is out there.
Yes.
For the rest of us, it'll be a month before we catch up.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, just feels like it feels like they're rushing it. And maybe they have to. Maybe we are as consumers, we want to know that. We
Yeah.
want to sit down. That's the struggle with these online Disney Plus releases or Netflix releases or all these shows that come out once a week.
Yeah.
We're so used to sitting down and binge watching a whole season or 2 or 3 or more.
Well, I think it's smart on their part because that keeps the conversation going.
It does.
You know,
It does, but it also takes some people and makes them too bored to finish.
sure, sure. If each episode doesn't hit them the right way, they're kind of like,
Yep.
nah, I'm over it.
Take something like Moon Knight, where like I bet some people were really excited to watch the first episode or two, and then by the end of it, people were the viewership was dropping off.
What if that is part of the reason why you release the first 4 episodes? Because you get that buzz going, oh man, those first 4 episodes are wild. So those people that watch the first episode and they're like, meh, but I did read that review where they said the first 4 episodes are great. So it kind of keeps you interested, even though if you
But you're also kind of risking shooting yourself in the foot by having that fan base. Because if I watch the first episode and I think it's mediocre to shitty, okay, and you've got these people like, oh my god, they're so amazing. You either one discredit them,
Mhm.
or two think if that's what they think's amazing, I don't want to watch the rest of it. You know what I mean? But if you have someone who's a little bit more realistic, it starts out kind of slow because it's going to start slow. Every single one of them starts slow.
well, not based on this one.
But what I'm saying is, if it starts super quick, then we can believe them. But if it starts kind of slow, we're like, wow, this is right out the gate. This is not. Is it what they call it, the golden rule or some shit? The gold standard. What if this is your gold standard? Then bitch, I must be platinum. You know what I mean? So you do run the risk of doing that, and I'm afraid of them for that. But hey, it's whatever. It might turn out to be fucking amazing, and I'm excited for it. I'm gonna watch it. But it just feels off.
Mm.
And maybe they're well, now that football
maybe
season
they're
started,
trying. Yeah, maybe they're trying something different, right? Maybe they're
well,
like,
they've got this time of year. You've got more competition too.
that's true too.
You got your fall sitcoms coming out. You got football. You've got all this other stuff coming out. You're competing for that airtime.
That is a legitimate possibility. I mean, I don't know. I also think, and the last thing I'll say about this is that it could be partially COVID related. Whereas over the last 2-3 years, they didn't have to give us a lot because we were so
Yep.
desperate for entertainment. We were so desperate for content that they're like, by the way, here's a show coming. Just, fucking sit there and watch when it comes out. Like, they didn't have to tease. Whereas now, like you said, there's so much competition for content. They kind of have to throw it in your face and be like, check this shit out. Watch it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's fair. It's a fair. Only time will tell. I mean, shoot, tonight, was it midnight Pacific and 3 a.m., Eastern, it's, the episodes come out. So we'll see. I mean, as Keith says, are you competing for airtime with streaming shows with football? I mean, yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I mean, because you're going to have people who give zero fucks about football, and obviously football doesn't play on Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
but you're still going to have people. You're going to have people like me who I can't. I have a life. I have to work. I've got kids.
And you watch it on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
You
well, if I'm trying to keep my fantasy football team going to beat CQ, maybe I don't sit down on Sunday and watch Seahawk.
But yeah, Keith has exactly. You can watch streaming shows anytime. So you're in the shitter. You could be watching part of it. You're laying down in bed. You could be watching part of it on your transit ride to work. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, one quick thing, I want to show you before we go to break and we bring on the amazing Anjali.
Yes.
I wanted to show you this. So, we know Riri Williams, character of Ironheart, is going to appear in the Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever movie. She's going to make an appearance. Yes. Which eventually leads to her own show on Disney Plus. Speaking of Disney Plus shows, Ironheart. That's gonna be her own show. I do have this. I'm gonna let me cue this up. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Come to me. All right. So check this out. These are leaked images from the set of Disney Plus's Ironheart. So on the left, you see Riri Williams. You see the actress playing her in what is now the classic like CGI mocap suit for most of the Iron Man style folks. The middle is the CG like the replica, so people can know what they're looking at since the suit's actually CGI. This is like the stand-in for what it will look like in full armor. And on the right is, I don't know if he's the villain or one of the villains of the show, but the first appearance of the Hood, a character that I never could make any sense of, because he's like street level thug turn criminal like overlord, but he has a magical cape, but he shoots guns. Like, yeah, it's weird. Like, he has some sorcery. He's just like like if you took Punisher, Doctor Strange, Kingpin, mixed them all together and like watered it down till it's very
and
weakest.
watered it down. Okay.
Yeah, and just completely, because he's never been like a real player. You know what I mean? He's not an Illuminati kind of guy. He's not your Doctor Dooms, but like he's an annoyance, you know. And I guess for some of the lower level people, he's a tougher, you know, boss battle for some of the lower level heroes. But like, you know, like a Doc Strange would just slap him around and be like, make quick work of him. So apparently he's going to be in the show, which I wouldn't have guessed. Like when you really like look at that middle picture and look at that right picture and imagine those two kind of going at it, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm assuming the story must be really, really, really good. So anyway, guys, we're going to toss to a quick break. We've got our guest. She's in the green room. Hi, they can't see you. Don't worry about it. We're going to toss to a quick break, guys. We'll be back with more right after this. Say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
All right, we'll be back. All right, so...
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, alright? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
Looking up and fading out, cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through, skin is brown. Nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life is never ending. Is there
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome back, everybody, to Pop Culture Warrior. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh, you've been expecting this all night. My guest tonight is an incredible actress of stage and screen whose multifaceted career spans from Broadway to feature films, television, video games, animation, original online content. Most recently, you've seen her enter the MCU as Auntie Ruby on the Disney Plus hit show Miss Marvel. On television and film, she's been seen as Bina on Netflix special Joa. Sorry, I got mixed up my words. Joa on Alex Inc., Tiger Mom, Nina Patel on ABC's hit comedy Modern Family. Other notable appearances include Marvel's Runaways, SWAT, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Silicon Valley, Criminal Minds, NCIS Los Angeles, The Sopranos, and so much more. Since 2016, she has been known worldwide as the voice of the reality-bending hero Symmetra in Blizzard Entertainment's wildly popular video game Overwatch, along with other gaming heroes and villains such as Rampart in Apex Legends, Nisha from Fallout 4, Yasmin in Fallout 76, just to name a few. There is so much to talk about with this woman and not nearly enough time to cover it all. So let's dive straight in. Everyone, please give a huge round of applause and a welcome to Anjali Bhimani, everybody.
Hello. Oh my goodness, I want you to be my hype man everywhere. That was the loveliest introduction.
Thank you.
I feel like it's all downhill from here. That was
No, not at all. Don't you dare. I am so freaking excited. There's so much to cover. There's so much to talk about. As I get myself under control, bring myself to center, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask every guest. First one out the gate. What is your military connection?
You know, there is one thing that I have noticed about all of the people that I have met who are either veterans or who are currently serving either on leave or whatever, whether it is my father-in-law who served, whether it is, family, friends, everything. And that is this amazing sense of perspective of what really matters in life. And I think we civilians have a tendency to struggle with that because folks in the military make it possible, give us the luxury of struggling with that, whereas they are putting themselves out there every single day to make sure that we have the freedom to be able to explore, to be able to have that safety, to be able to have that sense of confusion. You guys know, they just know, they know what matters. And so while I don't have dear friends in the military, I feel a deep connection to them because I feel like it's because of the military that I am allowed to live the life that I am. And I'm wildly, wildly grateful for it. Wildly grateful for what
We
they do.
appreciate it. Hey, a supporter of the military. The fact that you're here speaks volumes. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for momentarily being part of the community. We're gonna put our arms around you and we're gonna pull you in.
I'm so
thank
excited.
you.
I remember working with Gary Sinise and us talking about it too, because he's such a huge supporter of vets and whatnot, and how special it is, especially when you're an artist and people don't necessarily think of those two things being so linked. But what you do, what folks in the military do is so noble. And it gives the peace that it gives us. All I want to do is give back.
Awesome. Thank you. So now let's talk about you. Let's put the spotlight on you. Now I love, we're going to talk about all the things you've done and all the lives you've touched and all the different aspects you've played in and all these different things. But first, I want to get to know you. The internet can only tell me so much, and I've done my homework. So for instance, I know that you started playing Dungeons and Dragons when you were just 8 years old.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. You know, you've that means you've automatically got the geek cred. You've got it.
Oh,
You don't
100%.
you
Whether
don't have
cred
to
or not, I've
pretend.
been a geek since day one. Day
So
one.
so what are you geeking out about right now? Like what's your go-to geek stuff?
I mean, I gotta be honest, it's still role-playing games. I still love them so much. I feel like in so many ways, they are like an educational tool for us to find out more about ourselves, to learn more about the world, to learn more about teamwork, to learn about collaboration, to learn about emotional parts of ourselves that we may not have access to in our day-to-day lives, because now we get to step into these characters that are different from ourselves and have these different worlds that they are a part of. As an actor, I love playing TTRPGs so much, and I'm so grateful that it has now become a part of my career to play them, because as an actor, you don't necessarily have the agency to really create your characters and what they say and what they do as much as you do in an RPG. So you have this wonderful sense of being a part of the narrative, a part of the story. You get to play at the same time as you get to perform. It's just, I still, in fact, I was literally just opening a box of some new RPG books that I have from the Spelljammer series. Literally just opened it. They're right there on the floor in the plastic, and I'm so excited to open them. So that's largely what I'm geeking out a lot on right now. Also, there's just been so much great television recently that is like I guess it would be called science fiction, but it's so close to reality that it's a little bit like, is this a drama or is this science fiction? Can't quite tell. Super geeking out on Severance right now, the Apple TV show, Apple TV Plus show. And I have been reading it's an old series, well, not an old series, but it's not a new series, called Behind the Throne, which is a sci-fi series of books that I'm super getting into. So a little bit of everything, along with work and
Be still my heart.
playing other people for a living, and getting to play games or be characters in games and make silly voices and all sorts of fun stuff. But I think those are the three main geekeries that I have right now. And then my longstanding love for Star Trek, all things Star Trek, which is just like, that's a constant in my world.
Okay. Well, then you might appreciate this. So recently, once things started opening up again, I get to travel to different conventions and do different things. So, as a D&D fan, I got to go to GaryCon, which is a huge convention for, obviously the founder of D&D. And just a few weeks ago, got to go to Shore Leave, which is a huge Star Trek, Star Wars, well, more Star Trek. It's more like that side of but they've opened it up to others,
Right.
sci-fi experiences. But so I've got to do that, which was so cool after 2-3 years of being.
Aren't conventions the best?
That's what I
just-
wanted to ask you. I know you do a ton of these conventions. Like, what is it about the conventions that gets you excited to go and to be there with the people?
I can give you a soundbite right now, and it's what excites me as an attendee. It excites me as a guest. I love conventions because they are a place to celebrate the thing you love and be celebrated for loving the thing you love. Everybody who goes there is excited about something and excited about sharing that something and their love for that something or some things with other people. Like, I wish that we could take the energy of a convention more out into the real world, because there's such a sense of community based on what you love, not conflict based on what you hate.
Mm.
It's like, I feel like the real world right now is flipped on its head, and conventions are like, no, that's how it should be. People get to cosplay and step into these roles that they love so much and that they admire so much, and people celebrate them for it. Vendors get to share all of this creativity and artistry that they have. I can't leave a convention without like 7 sets of dice. I always leave with more dice. I have like it's like jewelry for gamers. I love it so much. But yeah, just what's at the heart of conventions, I think, is enthusiasm, is the love of something. And I don't think you can get any better than that. It's a very unifying feeling.
I want to do the take them to church. Amen. Preach. Ah, like I get it. So I'm giddy inside. I'm trying to hold it in.
Hallelujah.
Oh
Let's go
my
to convention.
God, it's so good. Yes, everything you're saying.
Get it, right? You get
Mm.
it. Like, if you can, you get it.
So good. I'm trying to contain because I just want to be screaming over you like, hey, pay attention, people, listen. She's telling you. You're so good. And guys, before I forget, if you're out there in the chats, Feel free to say hi. Feel free to throw in your questions. I will share them with her and we will answer them as always. I already got a bunch of I think I may be in love. So you've
You
got that
guys,
you got that going for
stop.
you.
No, stop. Really stop.
Stop.
I appreciate it.
And let me tell you something. My audience is not one to give a lot of compliments. So when you get it,
No, I mean, I appreciate
it's
that, like, the
sincere.
standards are high for y'all. There's a high bar. I appreciate it. So I will take the compliment graciously and with gratitude and with honor. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so more about you. You were born in Cleveland, Ohio, but were raised in Orange County, California.
That's right.
Your parents were both doctors who actually met doing a play.
You have done your research. Wow, I love this.
So I'm curious, what was that like growing up for you? Because obviously you have this to be a doctor, that is academia, that is the pinnacle, right? That's the top. That's one of the most revered professions. But obviously there's that love of theater. There's that love of the theatrics. So what was that like for you growing up in that household?
I mean, look, when you grow up with your own family, you don't realize how special they are until you have experiences with other people, with other experiences, right? So at the time, well, particularly when I was younger, I didn't realize just how incredible it was. I loved my family and always have and always will, but I just didn't really get how lucky I was. I think at the time, it's so easy to take it for granted. My parents and my brother too, who is, he's a giant internet security god, and does all of this amazing stuff, and is like the smartest person I've ever met in my entire life, and likely will ever meet, and one of the kindest people and the most fun people. So my whole family is full of people who have this wonderful, I don't want to say balance, because balance is boring. You don't want anything to be completely equal. A seesaw at balance doesn't move. It's boring. But they have this wonderful sense of like being able to juggle their artistic side and their scientific side, and their logical side and their creative side. The whole experience of growing up was a celebration of everything that you are. We had amazing, really like heated but respectful debates about everything at the dinner table. It was respected to have an opinion. It was respected to have a strong opinion about something and to stand your own and to say, no, let's look in the encyclopedia and check it out in our giant wall of books behind the dinner table. Let's do all of those things. So it was just the most extraordinary. The older I get, the more I realize how incredibly lucky I was. And yeah, my parents met doing a play in medical school, because medical students have so much free time, and just that alone, that they were exercising their creativity while they were also following this career in medicine, is just a testament to how they live their lives. They live their lives artistically, and they brought that artistry to surgery, and they brought the precision of medicine to the artistic lives that they led. And so it was just phenomenal. And I'm very, very lucky. I mean, obviously I keep saying I'm so lucky. I know how lucky I am. But one of the many reasons I'm lucky is that despite the culture that I come from, the Indian culture, being historically seeming like a very traditional culture, and maybe a lot of kids not being encouraged to go into the arts, my parents just cared that I went into something that I loved, that I was good at it, and that I could make my own way with it.
Yeah.
And I really do think all parents, even if they don't necessarily express it the way that you wish they would, all parents just want their kids to be safe. They want them to be able to make their own way, and they want them to be happy. It's just that a lot of parents think that they know better how to do that than their kids. And God bless them, my parents trusted me that, like, once I showed that I was serious about a career in the arts, once I showed I want to go to college, I want to do all these things, I want to take the lessons, I want to do all this, they said, great, we are 100% behind you. Your graduation gift will be being on your own and having to find your own way, and that will be wonderful. But they gave me that freedom to say, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I will prove to you that I can do it to the best of my ability, and that if I'm not good at it, I won't do it. And I think that commitment to excellence that they followed in their careers, in their medical professions, that was really the foundation for anything that I would do. I just lucked out that instead of having to pay for medical school and be a doctor that way, I decided to just play doctors on TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this way I don't have to worry about it being life or death for anyone else. I don't think I've killed anyone with my acting yet. It's possible that someday I will do that badly, but I'm really hoping not.
You might have broken some hearts. You might have broken some
Ah,
hearts.
uh,
Speaking of your college days, you want to shout out Northwestern? What's that? Woo, woo.
yes, go Wildcats, go Cats. I love Northwestern. Again, such a continuation of what we're talking about. I very much wanted to go to a liberal arts program because I wanted to have a full education. And one of the things that I love about Northwestern's theater program is that it was a theater program. It wasn't an acting program. So when you learned about the theater there, you had to learn, you learned your acting, you learned theater history, you learned costume design, you learned set design, you learned sound design, you learned dramaturgy. You were a combination of, being on stage in a play and washing people's dirty laundry in the costume crew at night. So you walked out of there with not just an understanding of how everything works, but a respect for every single member of the cast and crew, because you understood that you were one cog in a very big wheel, and that even if you were the face of the play, you were just the tiniest part of what made it go. And I think that's a very valuable thing that not all people, not all performers get to have. I think a lot of times, without being too negative, I think there are a lot of people that don't realize that they are not the center of that universe.
Kind of replaceable, right? The piece of
Not
the.
not even replaceable, but just you have to always remember that you are a part of a team. You are a part of this giant machine. You are not the machine. You are not the only reason this show is happening. Anytime you see a Broadway show, what you see on stage is like somewhere between 1/4 and 1/10 of what is going on backstage. There's so many things happening, and it's the same way with movies, with games, uh, there's an army of people coming together to make this happen. So when you realize that you're not that important, what's important is that you do your best. That's important, because you don't want to let everybody else down. Everybody else is pulling their weight. You got to pull your weight too.
That's
And
so good.
that Northwestern very much teaches you that.
That's amazing.
Oh, Northwestern! See, everybody should send their kids there. I should be hitting up the alumni association and being like, dudes, I just did a commercial for you.
Huge
on the
plug.
podcast.
Huge plug.
Not
We'll clip it. We'll clip it and send it. That's the next commercial. Everything you said, it strikes me so amazingly. It speaks to my military experience, right? We're all part of there's the objective. There's the big thing this production. And every part is equal. I was an infantry guy. I was a grunt. I was a door kicker. Like we swear up and down, right? We win the fights, but we need the cooks. We need the mechanics. We need the supply clerks. We need the guy to process my paperwork, my payments, like the HR guy. Like you need all of it. You need all of it. So
And also you start to understand the difference between confidence and ego.
mm,
I think a lot of people mistake the two. I think a lot of people think that arrogance is confidence, and it's very much different. When you're arrogant, you think that you are the only reason that the world revolves. When you're confident, you understand that you are a part of why the world revolves, and that if you don't offer, if you don't bring your best, the world will miss out. So you got to give the unique and powerful contribution that you have, that only you can bring. But if you are not here, there are other people who will lift that up. Like you just can't. Especially as an actor, I think it's so easy for people to get so self-centered and to forget the big picture. And there is no acting without an audience. There's no acting without a playwright. There's no acting without a screenwriter. There's no acting without, like, if there's no light on, no one's going to see you. So in a way, I think theater school should be humbling, because there's way too much, especially in the arts, there's way too much in entertainment, where you could get a big head, and that's the downfall of everything. It's the downfall, complete downfall. Then you're not focused, eyes on the prize. You're here to be of service. You are here to tell a story for other people to have an experience, not for you to have the experience. You're here to be their surrogate so that they can have experiences that they can't normally have in life. And you're here to do the heavy lifting. That's your job. Your job is to get on that stage and experience the drama. Your job is to get on that stage and experience the pain, the joy, whatever it is. Your job is to do that for them so they can go home to their lives and live a bigger life because they have that experience, but they didn't have to give anything up for it. That's the job.
I'm here I'm just soaking it all in. Like, damn, that's good.
Well, it's what you guys do. You make it possible. The military makes it possible. In all the armed forces, make it possible for us to live a life where we don't have to think about that on a daily basis. You make it possible for us to live our lives and go forward in whatever different lanes we want to, because you're handling something that we can't or that we aren't. And that, again, without you, we can't have this. So it's very much the same thing. Like, we're all doing something valuable, and if you aren't valuing what you do, but also understanding that you are a piece of the whole, something's off. It's both. It's a fine line there.
Very true. Very true. Now we do have a question from the chats.
Oh, bring it.
And I can
Boxer briefs. Always boxer briefs. Sorry.
I can guarantee you probably haven't been asked this question before.
Oh, I'm so excited.
There you go. From Heath.
Hi, Heath.
Do dinosaurs have boobs?
Ooh.
There you go.
I'm going to guess no, because I don't think dinosaurs were mammals. And isn't that like one of the defining characteristics of mammals? I believe if dinosaurs were to have existed now, they would probably be in the reptilian community or in the reptilian species, in which case they probably did not have mammary glands. So I'm going to guess no. That is an incredible question, though. Thank you for making my brain work.
There you go. There you go. If nothing else, we're gonna get a couple of those.
I love that. I love that so much. Please, you guys, bring it on.
Be careful what you ask for. I'm not gonna take a lot of those. Okay, so I happen to know, besides English and speaking your native tongue, you also speak Spanish. You also speak French. Was 2 not enough? Was 3 not enough? Why the extra?
I will say one thing. I don't actually speak Hindi or Gujarati fluently. Okay. Strangely enough, I learned Spanish really well. I learned French pretty well, but I never really learned Hindi and Gujarati. Gujarati is the language of my parents' community and their families, and then Hindi, obviously, the national language of India. And there are like 9 gazillion languages in India, so you can learn so many. But I don't know if it was because my parents were immigrants and they wanted me to assimilate a little bit more, but they never imposed that on me. They never really imposed anything. They weren't the kind of people to force anything. Their value, they were going to force anything. They would lay it out on a platter and say, here's what we got, do what you want with it, whether it was religion, whether it was cultural traditions, whether it was language. And so I think when you grow up as a kid in America, I don't think without that parental push, when you grow up as or the child of immigrants in America, the lean is towards doing what everybody else is doing. Now, that said, happily for me, I live in Southern California, and the opportunity to learn Spanish was there in school. And so I was like, well, obviously that's the language I'm going to learn because that's very useful where I live. And French came very easily in college, because it's so similar to, not similar to Spanish, but it's got the same, the root. They're both Latin languages, Romance languages. So no, 2 is not enough. But honestly, I think the main reason is I love communicating with people. And I think words are so incredible. Having the vocabulary, the right vocabulary to express yourself exactly how you want to express yourself is so special. And I don't think you can do that with people in another language, in their own language, without speaking their own language, without learning that. I think it's very respectful too. I think it's ridiculous to go to another country and expect them to speak my language. I think it just makes sense.
And there is something, I happen to speak Spanish, there is something lost in that translation. So even if, one understands the other, like, if you're not speaking the same language, there's definitely some, it's watered down. You lose a piece of it. So,
and there's also a connection you make, even if you're trying and doing an abysmal version of it. There is a connection you make with someone else when you make the effort to speak the language that is easy for them to speak. There is something that honors them, that honors who they are, that honors where they came from. And I find that it takes a lot of hubris to just assume that everybody else should speak your language, especially if you're going to their country. So even when I go places that I have no business I know nothing about the language. I'm really trying to listen, whether for the accent or just figure out what the words are and try to make sure I'm learning about their culture because I'm on their territory. I'm in their world and I'm in their home. So I want to respect that. I think that's very important.
Yes. Raymond in the chat says boa notte.
Ah, grazie.
There you go. Okay, you ready to get a bunch of guys hitting up your Instagram right now? I happen to have stalked your Instagram and saw a picture of you doing a split.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Is that is there not enough that you're good at that you're also like I'm gonna be super flexible and show that off?
Well, I mean, in fairness, that split has gotten a little bit less easy as the years go on, but she's trying to hold it together, kids. No, it's another, God, I just, the older I get, the more important it is to me to maintain a childlike wonder when it comes to the world and to maintain a sense of excitement and to really lean into fun because there is so much in the world that will break you down. There is so much in the world that is hard. There are so many things that we have no choice but to experience that are difficult and challenging and downright heartbreaking. So why not take every chance you possibly have to have fun? And when I was in school, all the cheerleaders could do the splits and they were doing all the fun stuff. And if you were a popular girl doing the splits and stuff, I was like, well, I may not be one of you, but I'm going to do the splits because that looks like fun. I say yes to that. Let's make that happen. So yeah, it's just something I like to do and it's become a thing. And I like doing pictures, hashtag splits around the world and wherever I get a chance to do them, as long as I'm wearing pants that allow me to do them. I almost ripped my last pair of jeans when I did that on stage in the last picture. So got to be careful. Make sure you're wearing spandex when that's happening. But yeah, that's the thing I do.
Outstanding. All right, so now I feel like we've gotten to know you a little better. We've gotten a peek behind, the brain, the big brain you got there.
We got a big brain on Brad. Okay, sorry.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some back in the past. You've been connected with just a number of huge properties and some smaller things, some bigger things. Obviously, we're not even going to touch on your theater work because I just don't have enough time to do that
was a
as
long
well.
time too. Yeah, that's when that was like 10 years before I started doing anything else. So
yes,
yeah.
I mean Broadway. I mean that's all that needs to be said. Broadway, right? That you're top.
But if you're gonna say the word Broadway, you kind of have to go Broadway or something like that. You know, and you gotta make it big. Jazz hands, Broadway.
So when you were breaking into TV and film, do you recall seeing yourself on the screen, big or small, that first time, and what that feeling was, seeing yourself for the first time?
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but the feeling was, oh no. Oh, girl. Okay. Like there's definitely the same way when we're like the first time you hear your voice recorded and you're like, that's what I sound like. I think there's definitely that experience when you see yourself for the first time on screen and you see yourself for the first time in a role. Like there's a pride that, yay, I booked the job, but there's also a sense of like, is that the best you can do? Do better. Now, maybe that's just my own, inability to accept anything other than an A+, because I am Indian after all. But yeah, the first TV gig where I was playing a role that I did, not like a commercial or something, was Law and Order SVU. And I remember seeing it and being like, oh, cool, I'm on this show. Okay, we've got some work to do. Let's make that better.
Is that what I look like?
Let's do that better. Let's maybe tone this down. Like, so it was very much a how do I do better? Which I admit, for all my talk about, one of the reasons I'm so adamant about finding joy in life is because my natural state of being is to criticize myself and to critique and to really it's very easy for me to get mired down in solving the problem of me or solving the problem of my life rather than saying, nothing's wrong here. There's no hole in the boat. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the ride. So I think it's taken me a long time to really understand how to peel away the product of me, which I need to know about for my work. I need to watch a performance or feel a performance if I'm on stage, because I don't get to watch the replay or tape of it. But to focus on a performance and figure out what can be improved, or figure out what I like, what I don't like, but to peel that away from my own, my own moral judgment of who I am. To understand that the product of me is not the whole of me. The product of me just happens to be, because I am an actress, I am the CEO of my corporation, and I am the product that we sell. So yeah, the first time I saw myself, I was a little bit like, oh, I've spent all this time doing theater, not having to look at myself, just enjoying the audience's, applause. And now I'm seeing myself and I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're going to work on this. We're going to dive in. We're going to really get this better. And as time has gone on, I've been a little bit gentler on myself. But like I said, when you separate the two things, when you separate yourself as a human from yourself as the actor, it's a lot easier to critique yourself without judgment. And I think that's a very valuable skill for all of us to have, is to understand how to evaluate yourself rather than judge yourself. I think that's really important.
Outstanding. Now, one of your earliest roles, it might have been the third thing you're credited with on IMDb anyway, is an appearance in The Sopranos.
Yeah, that was my second job.
Second
My
job.
like who? Again, when I talk about how lucky I am, it's ridiculous. Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
I was
So
gonna
yeah.
say that's a lot. That's a lot to live up to. Like
Thinking, however, though, okay, here you go. Talking about how everything is everything. My parents are doctors. We talked about that already. That role, when I went in for that role, first of all, I got to the callback and they said they didn't have me on the list, but I was there. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to stay here until you're done seeing everybody, and then you're going to see me. Everybody else is there wearing lab coats or whatever. I'm not. I just showed up dressed as I was dressed. And I went in and I did the scene, and they said, are you a real doctor? And I was like, no. I mean, I have a lot of family members who are doctors, but I'm trying to do my job here and make it look like I'm a doctor. But because I knew so much, because of my parents and my sister-in-law and everybody in the family who was a doctor, I was able to thankfully book that job, because I don't think I would have been able to book it if I didn't have that life reference to book off of. So everything is everything.
Mm. So I have a note here that says, if you count an appearance as a veterinarian that you played and another one as a medical examiner, if you count those, you've been a doctor 14 times in your career.
I feel like it's been way more than that. It's got to be way more than
14 is what is the count I had. Now, what does that say about you? I'm just curious from your own perspective. I think we kind of touched on it a little bit here. Do you feel that you've been typecast as a doctor? Okay,
let's talk about typecasting, because all of us are typecast. We have a type and we are cast as it, right? It's just how much can you broaden the type that you are? That's part of the challenge of acting. How many different things can you play? Now, obviously, ethnically and statistically, a lot of doctors are Indian. And especially when I was growing up, like that was kind of the main thing. Now there are a lot of people, South Asians, who are expanding into so many other careers here in the West. But so yeah, I definitely think it was something that people associated with my background. I also know there are a lot of Indians in the world. So if all of us went in for the role as a doctor and only one of us came out with it, there's got to be something that makes that person unique, right? So in my case, I think it was a combination of, I present as someone who might be a doctor, and I lucked out that I just happened to be able to spout out medical jargon in a way that makes sense, because I understand it a lot. I mean, as far as tech goes, I'm the biggest Luddite. Well, I'm not the biggest Luddite, but I feel like I say this all the time, as an Indian, you get one gene or the other. You either get the tech gene or you get the medical gene. Very few people are blessed with both. I got the medical gene. So, I can intubate you with a pen, but I can't freaking deal with my computer. And no, I can't intubate you with a pen. That's highly dangerous. I would never do such a thing. That's a joke. But yeah, so I think that was definitely a part of it. And listening to my parents and my so much of my family, it wasn't just my parents, my grandmother, my sister-in-law, uncles and aunties, so many doctors in the family. I think it would be the same as someone coming from a family of lawyers and being like, well, I know how lawyers talk because that's what I saw growing up.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, there are worse stereotypes in the world than to be a doctor. it's a highly respected profession. I'm totally fine with that.
I mean, yeah, because speaking again from a pop culture lens,
Mhm.
I can easily, The Simpsons made a Pooh and the clerk at the convenience store, and so I'm like, there are worse things to be typecast than a
Yeah.
doctor. And I think you felt like you played more because you played a number of nurses as well. So you've done a lot
Oh,
of
yeah, I forgot about that.
medical,
Yeah.
lot of
That's right.
medical stuff.
I live in the medical world pretty comfortably. And
It's
there's
it's so
also
easy.
another I also played a doctor, quote unquote, on well, it is a doctor on Law and Order SVU, but it was a doctor as in a PhD who was a professor, so not
Right,
quite a doctor.
right. Question from the chat says, what was her first big paycheck purchase? Like you get the big payday, and what's that
Oh,
big purchase? The first big purchase.
I'm just trying to remember my first big paycheck because, to be honest with you, things that look like they should pay a lot as an actor often do not pay a lot.
Mm.
Um, God, I honestly can't remember. This is gonna sound so boring, but I was that kid who just like put money in their savings account.
Mm.
I remember being a tutor in high school. I tutored students, and I had a friend who I was so nervous was going to end up in jail because he was such a bad boy that I put aside a fund in my cabinet that was the Get Todd Out of Jail fund, and I put it in there, and I put $200 in there, which is ridiculous because who's going to get out of jail for $200? But that Monopoly says that, so I guess that's what I put in there. And so I'm that person. So I guess my biggest paycheck purchase was probably the Get Todd Out of Jail fund. I never used it, but it was there.
That just sounds like a
Uh,
good friend, man. I wish I had friends like that.
yeah, if I know myself well enough, chances are it was something to like a computer game.
Mm.
Chances are it was something in my geeky world, um, or just a computer. That is very likely. But I don't
I
even
like that.
remember what my first big paycheck is. For so many years, I didn't clock. I think one of the reasons that I have been able to be successful, like not even, and by successful, I mean pay my own bills. I don't
Sure.
even mean like
A
a lot of money.
working
Successful as
actor.
an artist. Successful as an artist is because I didn't care where I made my money as long as it was legal and ethical. I kind of didn't care where I made it, so that I didn't feel like my acting making me a large paycheck was the pinnacle of success. As long as I was working, I didn't care if I was making $200 or if I was making $2,000 or if I was making 20. I didn't matter. I was working on that. And I think that that is something that a lot of artists could stand to do for themselves, is to remember you are not like you are not an artist because you are not making a ton of money doing it. You just have to figure out how to make enough money to pay your bills and
Outstanding.
hopefully buy yourself that big one purchase that I can't remember. So, in the middle of the night tonight now, like 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna wake up and be like, I bought this
Yeah.
because that's pop
That
up in my
collection of rare
Ah,
antiquities.
yes, I remember it was my mini collection for this campaign or something.
Hit us up on social media. When it comes to you, just
I will.
tweet it
I'll be
out
like,
to us. We'll catch it.
hashtag pop culture warrior. I know what I bought. I went through the receipts from 1995.
Yeah. Okay. So we're having so much fun here. We have to talk about Miss Marvel. We have to take a couple minutes because, oh man, so awesome.
Oh, right?
So
fun.
so awesome. I'm a kid from New York. I'm born and raised in New York. So even though this takes place in New Jersey,
Yeah, but
I'm
I mean, it's the tri-state area.
I'm very familiar. I spent tons of time in Jersey, and I know what I'm talking about. But before we dive into Miss Marvel, I gotta say, it's not your first run in, pun intended, with the MCU. You had a part in The Runaways. So, can you recall what your experience was like on The Runaways when you're first getting into the MCU and it was canon as part of part of the bigger
Right,
universe?
right.
Do you remember what that experience was like?
I mean, it was absolutely wonderful. Everyone on that show was so, so, so sweet. Britt Ishibashi is still a friend. Ever Carradine is still a friend. I That character was minor enough that I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, I'm a part of the Marvel universe. It
Mm.
felt like, okay, cool, I got this job and I'm going to do this cool thing on this really cool hit show with a bunch of really cool actors. But I didn't so much feel like, ooh, you're in the MCU now. I didn't have that. I didn't have that connection to it like I do to Ms. Marvel. It was very, very cool, and I really enjoyed myself, and it was a fun storyline, really fun storyline. And as far as we know, my character, she may or may not have died, because if she did die, it happened off screen. So we don't know. We don't know what happened to her. That's what I kept telling myself. I'm like, if they do another season, I could come back. We never know. That's the actor's like big thing.
I mean,
Like,
given
I could come back. Could I come back? Could I still come back? So
because it's a shared universe, we could have a situation where she runs into Auntie Ruby on the street.
I
Like,
mean, that would be a tough one to sell, I think. But now that we've got all the branches and the timelines and
mhm,
Earth 616 and 813 and all this stuff, like we've got all the different possibilities. I think there's a lot of room for fun stuff.
could happen.
So, but I feel like her running into Auntie Ruby would be
It would just be a little wink wink to the audience.
it'll be a little bit much, even for the wonders of the Marvel universe.
Right. So when you were auditioning for Miss Marvel, is
Mhm.
that something that comes up in the conversation? Well, like I was on the Runaways, and like like is that something like don't worry about it?
Good
Like nobody's
question.
gonna notice.
I always leave that up to casting, because casting will know what I was a part of, because it's out there in the world and it's on my resume and it's on IMDb. And like it's the same thing with Law and Order SVU. Some shows do care if you've been on them before, and some, if it's been a few years, knock yourself out, come back as a different character. So I was unsure what they would think about this, but they sent me the audition, so I figured, okay, well then, cool, because I want another try. Give me another hit. Give me another chance at the bat. I'm ready to go.
I like it. Now we would be remiss if we didn't mention Imani and her
Iman, oh,
incredible,
I know. Iman is just,
incredible.
yeah, she's really, really fantastic. Just a lovely, she's lovely. She's grounded. She's fun. She's very, such a hard worker. Oh my, I mean, the amount that was on her shoulders for this show, uh, in so many ways. I feel like people 3 times her age would have caved from the pressure.
Mm.
And she just nailed every bit of it, on screen and off.
I feel like the hard, just again, watch. I'm the guy that watches the behind the scenes and the
Oh,
making
dope.
of and
Yeah.
all these things. I can't get enough of it. Seeing her personality, seeing how she is behind the scenes, it
Right?
seems like the hardest thing for the crew would probably be to rein her in. And like we have to film a show. You're having too much fun. Yes, you're in the MCU, but we need you to
You might
focus.
think that. You might think that, but her enthusiasm never got in the way of her work. On the contrary, it just made her more serious about it.
That's awesome.
And
So
the
awesome.
fact that she had such a deep knowledge, not just of the Marvel universe, but specifically of this character, and such a deep love for her and such a deep respect for the story, she only brought more depth and more, more things that Kamala would do or would say, or an understanding of who that person is, especially because she's that age. We
She
aren't
is the character.
she absolutely is the character.
Mm.
And I've said it a million times. I'll probably say it again. I don't think there's anyone alive who is more right to play that character, because she also has there's an authenticity to her acting that is very rare, particularly in young actors, but actors period. It's very hard to just be yourself, and she's right there. She's right present. She's right, like, I could take an acting class from her. She's great. She's just great.
And for those that don't know, she basically books this right out the gate. She's like barely finished high school.
She did not even want to be an actress. She was not intending to be an actress, but she loved Ms. Marvel, the character, so much, that when she heard about the audition from a WhatsApp that her auntie sent her, which is hilarious. I think it was her auntie, or maybe, but someone in her family sent her. She was like, if I don't audition for this, I'm going to be disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to cry.
You always have that
And
what if.
yeah, exactly. And sure enough, here she is killing it. And I'm so excited to see her in everything that's to come.
Oh my God.
There's so much goodness to come.
She's got such a career ahead of her.
I
What
know.
given that you have the experience, were you able to give her any advice? Were you able to have conversations with her? Is there what could you impart to her? Can you share that with us? Is it
Yeah, no, I
just between you?
can. And I don't think it was anything that she didn't know. It was just maybe something that I wanted to uh, uh, solidify that she did know. Because I think there was so much I don't think, I know. There was so much pressure on her to be like the poster child for Pakistani American Muslims, to be exactly what the world wanted her to be, to somehow be everything to the world. And she already knew, again, she already knew this. You can hear it in her own interviews, but just she didn't I remember having a conversation with her and saying, you don't have to be anything other than exactly what you are, because exactly what you are is what got you to where you are today. You don't have to be, you're not responsible for anything other than being who you are. And who she is such a lovely person that I hope nothing ever takes her away from that.
Oh my God, that's so good. I'm gonna cry over here. It's so beautiful.
But again, it's not like I gave her new, it's not like advice or new knowledge. She had it.
Yeah.
She knew it. It's just confirming, I think, what she already knew. And getting to talk with her, we did our principal filming and then we did reshoots later, so she had already gone to set for the Marvels in between, and getting to talk to her and see how much she had changed and grown between those two phases because of the experiences she had shooting the Marvels is just like this. She's a sponge. She's just a brilliant girl.
That's so awesome. There was a question from Keith in the chats. We're not going
Hi,
to
Keith.
answer it because it says, and I know with secrecy, is she signed up for any Avengers movies or other things? I'm sure you're sworn to secrecy and can't
Dude,
divulge.
if I told you, I would have to kill you, and frankly, you probably are more capable of killing me than I am of killing you, so I'm not even gonna try. No, and I can already feel.
Yeah, the sweat starts to the.
I did not even tell my husband what I was shooting until it was public knowledge. So that was a good year and a half into the job
So
that I did not tell him.
damn,
So I'm very good at keeping that secret.
that's such a great, and that brings me to my next question, which is Marvel is known for its secrecy, and
Yeah.
when you're auditioning, what is like, do you know what you're auditioning for, right? How much information are you giving up front for this? Like, what did
I think it's probably different for different roles and different for different shows and projects and whatever. In this particular instance, I knew the character was named Auntie Ruby.
and
And then they gave us a script, and it was a dummy script. It wasn't something that existed in the show,
right,
which is smart. And what I mean, that's a lot of properties do that. Not just TV shows, but games and all sorts of stuff. They'll use code names. They'll use all sorts of stuff so it doesn't get out. But that was pretty much it. I think the age range that they gave me was like age 50 to 80. So they
that
were
had to
very
feel good.
easy, like casting a wide net. Yeah, it's always fun to be like, I'm going in for an 80-year-old. Awesome. Look, I don't care. I don't care if it's a 95-year-old Indian man. Just I'll do the job. If you let me do it, I'll do it. Yeah, there was not a lot. Definitely got the feeling though from the sides that they sent that like when I read the sides, the demeanor that I came into Auntie Ruby with in the show was very much present in the sides that I read. So I don't know if that's me just reading them that way and deciding like that's how I would read them, or if that was
That's who she is, man.
really what
That's
they
who
wanted.
she is.
But it's definitely it's sort of like the auntie I would want to be, like the cool auntie.
So okay,
The cool calls it as she sees it, auntie, for better or for worse.
yes. So okay, so we know you know nothing coming into it basically. Once
And I knew that I was auditioning for Ms. Marvel in this instance.
okay.
Yeah.
So once you get into it, I'm curious. Now you're on set. I know that the I've heard this tagline so many times of like I don't even know who else is in it until like we're in the scene shooting
100%,
it.
100% true in my experience.
Do you? And I don't want to get you in trouble. But do you do this thing with like other actors where you're like, hey, like how much do you know about this? Like what are you involved in? Like, do you guys trade secrets?
To an extent, yes, but being the person that I am, who doesn't want to get myself in trouble, let alone anyone else, I figure what I know is on a need to know basis. And if I need to know more, I can go to someone, I can go to one of the producers, I can go to the director, I can ask, hey, can you give me a little bit more information? If not, no big deal. I'll fill it in the way I fill it in. It's very much a trust your director and trust your team situation. And they had such a baller creative team on this show that like, why would you not trust them? Plus, I kind of love I don't know what's happening either. I kind of love that aspect of it because it forces you to be very in the moment. It forces you to listen. It forces you to create on the fly. It forces you to really be in your character, even if you don't know what the situation is. You got the one thing you can lean on is what you know about your character. So it's a fun, different kind of challenge.
Mm. And I mean, what better way to understand your character other like they don't know what's going on, so why
Yeah,
should you?
exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
And there are, obviously when you're shooting things that involve CGI or special effects or stuff like that, it would be nice to know what you're looking at. So there are certainly moments like that where we had to do that, and the directors would give us that, but maybe not the backstory about why it's happening. And I super appreciate that. Also being like I am like virulently allergic to spoilers, especially when I'm watching something. Like I have unfriended relatives over Game of Thrones spoilers. Like it's been a thing. So I love that the show didn't get spoiled for me when I was on it,
hmm,
because a lot of times this has happened to me in the past where I'll get an audition for a show that I love, but they're auditioning me for a role that's 6 7 episodes ahead or the next season. So all of a sudden I'm going in for this audition, but now I know everything that's about to happen on the show that I love so much, so now it's spoiled for me. In this instance that didn't happen. I got to watch the show as much a fan as a participant in so many aspects of it, because if I wasn't in the scene I didn't know what was going on.
hmm.
I hadn't seen it.
What was the hardest secret to keep for this show, other than maybe that you're on it? Uh, was there something where you're like, oh my god, like this, it's killing me inside to not share this?
No, again, I feel like I I it matters so much more to me that people enjoy seeing it for the first
Mm,
time, that there was nothing that was like, oh, I'm gonna burst at the seams and I gotta tell people. Like the only people that I really needed to tell were my agents and my manager and like people who were involved in it, and everybody else was like, you're gonna know when you know.
right
You're
on.
gonna and as far as the plot, I'm gonna know when I'm gonna know, so I'm not too worried about it. And also, I mean, this is maybe a little too behind the curtain for people, but you never, no matter what show you are in, you never know what it's going to look like what you are in, what the audience is going to see until you see it.
Right.
Which means if I tell people, "Hey, I'm in this show and it's so awesome that I'm in this show," and then suddenly I have like no lines because they cut my part out, that's not something that I really want to happen. So I'm all about success through lowered expectations. Until I know what I'm doing in a show, I try not to talk about it, or a game or a play or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can imagine, like the background extras, like, listen, I'm in this shot, like I was in front of the camera all day, and then it's on air, and it's like a shoulder that
Yeah,
appears.
no, it happened, and it's happened to me so many times in movies or in television, and it's not because you're not good, it's not because the scene wasn't good, it's usually because it just didn't serve the story.
Right.
And I remember doing 2 movies at the same time in New Orleans, one year, and one of them I spent like a month and a half shooting my like all the stuff that I was in, and one I spent one day shooting all the stuff that I was in. And in the finished product, I was in the movie with the one day of shooting more than I was in the one that I was on set for a month and a half for.
Wow. Yeah,
It just happens that way. It just happens. It
that's the
happens to the best of
business.
people. It is the business. So again, you got to fall in love with something and then let it go on a regular basis. And it's very catch and release philosophy.
I like that. I like that. Okay, we're running. Jesus, we're already running low on time.
Oh no,
I told you
you can
this is,
listen.
and I don't have to go anywhere. We could do this all
All
night.
right. All right. Well, I'm here for a minute. I just have my coffee. I'm good.
Oh, okay. All right. I got questions for you.
I have
Um,
no, I just, I can certainly go a little over
sure.
until I get a text. I'm solid.
Right on. So and I'm sure I'm not the only one to tell you this. I'm positive that Marvel was known for doing its little one shots, little vignettes, the little in between things before Disney Plus came along, and like I could imagine a Marvel one shot because you're a member of the Illuminantes. Which, God, I it's just so damn
That's
creative.
seriously like the greatest gift that
Oh my
the
God,
writers and creators gave.
so
Like,
good,
I
so
mean,
damn good.
freaking brilliant.
I'm a pretty creative guy, and I'm like, I would have done this, I would have done that. I'm like, I would have never ever thought of that.
I
That's
never would
so
have
damn
thought of
good.
that. Never in a million years. Like I bow down to their superior creativity and brilliance.
So I could totally see a Marvel one shot where it's the Illuminantes, gathering at different pivotal moments through the MCU years, right? Like, obviously maybe after the Battle of New York, the 20, like that was mind blowing for everybody. But it, like, as it goes on, these things become more and more commonplace. Where like there's a celestial now coming out of the ocean, like there's a giant. And like I could just see, their little knitting circle or whatever it is they're doing, and just like, did you see the news? There's a giant being coming out of the ocean. You're like, yeah. What
I mean, look, dude, pitch it. I say pitch it to Kevin. See what he says. I'm here for it.
All right, I'll get on the horn with them. I'll get on the
Would
horn
you,
with
would you
them.
call him up and do that for me?
Yeah, I got you. We're gonna get the fans going. Now, being that this is a shared universe, being that everything's connected and all these things are connected. If you were given the keys to the kingdom, if you were given the choice, where would you like Auntie Ruby to pop up next? Disney Plus show, movie, anything. Which property would you like in the MCU to pop up in?
I hate that I have to give this answer right now because it's such a fun question, but I feel like I have to plead the fifth because I don't know what they have planned. And I don't want to I don't want to ruin any chances of me getting to come back and do cool things. I mean, there's so many cool universes to be a part of. And I'm very partial to Doctor Strange for some reason. I can't explain why. Maybe it's because he's a doctor and I'm Indian. I don't know. But I do know that the Illuminatis would highly approve of him because he's a handsome young doctor.
Of course.
Not only a doctor, he's a neurosurgeon. Oh my God. Perfect. Number one. He's like perfect husband.
He's the perfect husband material. I love it.
The perfect husband for my little girl or for whatever. Yeah, I mean, everything is crossing over so much right now. Like I said, I don't even want to hazard a guess. I also want us to be our own thing. Let's do it. Let's do the Illuminatis. I want to be Auntie Marvel. Let's do that movie.
Forget Miss Marvel. Forget Captain Marvel. It's Auntie
Don't forget
Marvel.
them. They paved the way.
That's true.
It's just that everybody needs a judgmental auntie on their team.
I mean,
superpower is judgment.
We've seen, in Thor: Love and Thunder, where Thor like bestows his power onto the kids. I wonder if Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, if they could bestow their powers onto the aunties.
I don't see any reason why not.
The auntie core.
I mean, Auntie Ruby is very clearly pro Ms. Marvel. She is clearly team Ms. Marvel. So, if she needs an ally, at the very least, I'll cover for her real well.
There you go. A couple of random questions for you.
Okay.
So I happen to know your fan base is the Bimaniacs.
Oh my God, it's crazy, right? What a great name. Can you believe they came up with that name?
It's so good.
I don't
jealous.
know how no one has ever said that in the entire Bimani history that we haven't had someone say that you're a Bimaniac.
It's beautiful.
Some of them prefer to call it Bimaniacs. I like Bimaniacs because maniac is kind of like
it's
that's
the linchpin. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of the linchpin. So I'm glad you pronounce it the same way I do. But tomato. I don't care how they pronounce it. I love that that's what they chose, and I think it's awesome.
The fact that it's a thing, it matters.
I can't even believe that it's a thing. It's crazy.
You're also part of like the critters of the critical role. You're part of that.
Oh I am a critter, and I'm part of the critters.
Yeah.
Like it's a dream life to be able to be a fan of the thing you get to be a part of at the same time. And also they're all my friends. Like I got to be a part of it because I know them and we know each other's work. And I met Matt and Marisha from Critical Role because Matt was in Overwatch. And then Marisha suggested I do an RPG for Geek and Sundry. And everything is everything. And the Critical Role folks are just some of the finest humans. I just love them so much. I love so much what they stand for.
That's beautiful. And I say this because I'm jealous. We've been doing this show for now 3 years. And for the life of me, we cannot figure out what to call the fan base. So if you ever get a good idea.
Oh, you're a pop culture warrior?
Yeah. It's such it's long, it's awkward. Our PC warriors. And I'm like, oh no, that sounds terrible.
That was the first thing I thought of, and I was like, that sounds awful.
so bad.
That's like the absolute opposite of you don't call yourself that. Especially if you curse like I do. You really don't want to be the PC warriors. Like that's just a bad idea.
Exactly. And
Oh
I go
gosh,
by
that's true.
CQ, and like in the military, there was a thing called like a CQ runner. It's like a staff duty thing, and it's the guy that
There you
I answer
go.
the phone. So I was like, well, maybe it's CQ runners, but it's such an insider military kind of thing, and I don't know, whatever. So
But
I'm just
that's also like, why would you not want to call yourself an insider military thing and then have that be the thing that unifies your fans
that's a
and
good
makes them
point.
special, makes that community special? Because then other people would be like, well, why are they called CQ Warriors? Well, let me tell you why. This is why.
I like that. All right,
I would say that's a decent front runner.
okay,
So
okay.
I'll
We'll
put a
think
link.
about it.
We'll
We'll
think
link
about
up
it.
on social.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
we'll workshop a few things. We'll put out
I'll shoot you some
a link,
ideas. You let me
share
know
an
what you think.
Instagram poll or a Twitter poll and see what people come up with.
I love it. You've been, and because we didn't even get to touch on the video game stuff. Oh my God, there's
Yeah,
so many
go for it.
things.
Let's go. I'm not going anywhere. I didn't say I was leaving yet.
I mean, what an awesome, cool thing. Like, do you ever sit and think like, sorry, the question in my head sounds way dirtier than it's intended to, but like
Bring it. I
there
love
are
it. I love
teenage
good Noah
boys playing with you all over the world. Uh, like, do you ever say like that?
That's disturbing.
People love your character, and I mean, and love the voice that you bring to these characters. And like, I've seen the cosplays, I've seen the passion that people have for a video game character. Like, does it ever hit you just how impactful those roles are?
On a regular basis.
Mm.
On an absolutely regular basis. It's why I wrote the book that I did, and it's why I did the web series that I did, because I have such love for this community of people. And I feel like I know gaming is such a unique form of storytelling because it allows the person who is taking in this story to be a part of making the story. They get to be the character while I am playing the character. They get to play we are playing this character together. And when people have that sense of empowerment and that sense of agency and that sense of being a part of the narrative, I think they have an ownership, or they feel an ownership of that character. They feel a connection to that character that they don't necessarily feel when there's a screen between, like when I'm playing someone that they are not playing, when I am on stage and they are not necessarily connecting in that way. So the ability for games to have an effect on people on a visceral, emotional, mental level is so powerful. I think it's a really, really powerful connection and a really, really powerful thing. And it's going to sound really cheesy, but I do take it as a responsibility. And I don't think I really, in my career, I don't think I really took the playing of a role as much as a responsibility as I did once I started to do games. Because when you start having that broader voice and you know that what you say is affecting so many people, it is really incumbent upon you to do good with your voice. It is absolutely a part of your job to be the best person that you can be. Whether you do it publicly or you do it behind the scenes or wherever you do it. I mean, I feel like it's everybody's job to do that, period, in life, because at this point, we're all on the internet, we're all on social media, so we're all potential role models or potential bad examples. Where all of us are, because someone is watching. And so when Overwatch came out and when people started connecting so much with Symmetra, even before it came out, and people were talking to us so much about Symmetra and the other characters, I realized this was the first time in my life that I was probably going to have where I felt like my personal purpose as a human being and my weapon of choice, my career, my passion, were really coming together. They were really in line. And like the toothpaste is out of the tube now. Once you have that feeling where you realize what you have chosen to do as your path also fulfills a purpose that you have felt since you were very young, there's no going back. It goes back to what I was saying about it's our job to, as actors, to give people these experiences. I've always felt a desire and a joy and an excitement about finding out what makes other people happy and excited and feel the strongest selves that they are and help them get it in whatever way I could. And for many years, I didn't know how. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't a psychiatrist. I wasn't, Tony Robbins. It wasn't my lane. That wasn't my weapon of choice. But when I realized that you could do that as an actor, and then when I realized you could do it in games, which have such a broad reach across so many demographics and so many age groups and so much. Then all of a sudden I was like, okay, yes, I know with great power comes great responsibility. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. Because this is exactly what I want to be doing with my life. I want to be helping people figure out what makes them tick and how to celebrate and use and make the most of the unique things that make them themselves. And if getting to play me in a game enables them to see the hero in themselves, then my work here is done.
Wow.
Take that out in the world and go fly. I love that.
That's so cool. And you've done a ton of voice work for games and other things. I'm curious how that's challenged or improved or changed your acting skills, right? You're in front of the camera, traditional in front of the camera work. How's that changed?
Um, much like we talked about languages earlier, all acting is a form of storytelling, right? And it's just different languages that have the same root. It's like all the romance languages have the same root. All acting has at its core storytelling, and it's just a different branch of the tree. So, what was great about coming to voice acting, I started voice acting relatively late in my career compared to everything else, but because I had trained so much in theater and in musicals and in singing and in projecting and all of these different things, plus I was just like a kook who liked to make silly voices and sing songs around the house. That part of my experience and my training really served me as a voice actor, I think. And so it's not so much that I think it has, how has it changed me as an actor? I think it just really continues to broaden and to strengthen my belief that it's all storytelling at its core. And that the most important thing is not your character, it's not your lines, it's not what you're feeling, it's telling the story. The most important thing is telling the story because that's what people connect to.
Mm. It's sinking in. It's sinking in for me right now. I love this. And you've had a lot of different types of roles, different mediums. We've kind of touched a little bit on all of it. Is there any acting bucket list of something you haven't done yet you'd like to get into,
I
or
want to be an action hero. That's my bucket
Okay.
list.
I didn't
I
even
wanna
finish
be-
the question. I love it. You got an answer.
Give me action on me today. Like I just know, I'm
Okay.
seriously like I really, really want that.
Okay.
I don't want to say I'm ashamed, but I don't say this a lot because most people have like nobler answers. But the thing that made me want to do film was watching Speed, the movie Speed with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, because the level of intensity and excitement that I felt watching that movie made me go, oh shit, this is an option. This is an option for affecting people and having a great time doing it. It wasn't like I watched Citizen Kane and I wanted to be a filmmaker. No, it was that one because it felt so much more immediate and tangible. You know, I'm not saying it's the best movie ever, but it was one that affected me.
It
And it was one
made
that
you
made me
feel
go,
something.
I want to do that now. I want to try this. I want to try that. And I don't really care how people find me. I care that people find me. So I don't care what medium is your jam. If I did it, I did it for a reason. So please, be
Yeah.
excited about it. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what plays you're in. I'm like, that's okay. It's not your jam. If you don't know what games I'm in, that's good. I don't care. What's your jam?
I'm out there. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's one
And
of
if you don't know who I am, that's 100% fine. That gives us a chance to meet.
Mm.
I don't care. I really don't care. I just want to meet people.
But my purpose when I do these interviews is like I want people to know you so well that like when you want to introduce yourself, like, yeah, you don't even need to talk. Like, here, watch this interview I did because it shows you perfectly who I am.
That's very that's a lovely goal on your part, but it's something that I could never do. I could never be like, yeah, whatever. Look at this thing about me.
Yeah.
However, I very much appreciate what you said because I always say this in panels or when I'm doing interviews with people. I'm like, if you can Google it about me, don't ask it. You got me. Ask away. I'm an open book. Ask me the question that only I can answer. Google can answer a bunch of other stuff. So I love that your questions are so penetrating and so creative. And I love that you've got someone on your freaking chat room who wants to know if dinosaurs have boobs. Like, cool.
Yeah,
You're right. No one's ever asked me that question.
we got a full house of people. We'll leave it at that. Let me ask you something I can't Google.
Great, do it.
What's something that you did, you were super proud of it, and for whatever reason, it didn't get seen or as much, whether it was a small part, whether it was under budget or whatever it is that you would love more people to see?
God, there's so many heartbreaks. I'm trying to think of which is the one to talk about right now. I mean, I will say, and this was out in public, and unfortunately, this show got canceled after one season, and my character only made it through one episode because she met an untimely end. But there is a beautiful, beautiful show that was on called Kevin Probably Saves the World.
Yes.
Starring Jason Ritter.
Yes.
And shooting that episode was one of my favorite television experiences. The actual shooting of it and watching it, it was like one of those. It was one of the times that I watched myself and I was like, "Well done, good job, you get an A." And it was so much fun, partly because Jason Ritter is just like an unmitigated delight as a human being. Just I cannot talk enough about what a delightful, kind, fun, hardworking, like he's just a wonderful, wonderful person. He's in my book. He's just like, he's just very, very, he's generous to a fault. And he holds the Guinness Book of World Records record for the most hugs given in 1 minute. How cool is that? But the experience of shooting that show and the show itself, I felt like it especially was at a time when we could use something light and loving, where, I mean, it sounds so cheesy to be like, yeah, this show is about people changing the world through hugs. But technically that's kind of what it was. And it was so well done. And he was so charming. And, in the episode that I had, hi buddy, you want to come and be on this podcast? Come here, little man. Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
There's Charlie. Charlie's going to come sit with us for like 10 seconds and then he's going to get bored of this and he's going to leave. Watch. So getting to do that episode. Oh, hi. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Getting to do that was like, okay, mom, bye. Getting to do that episode was so much fun because I got to do like the gamut of human emotions. This character was very judgy and very conservative, and then all of a sudden she's like completely letting loose by the end of the episode. And there's one scene in particular, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but when you see the episode, you'll understand why it was my favorite scene, because not something I'll ever get to do, chances are, on film again, and I am so grateful to have had the chance.
I will say, I've seen the episode, and a scene that will never leave my mind is you lighting a.
Yep, that's the one. That's the spoiler. Woo! It's the best. I shouldn't say it's a spoiler. It's on my acting reel.
I mean,
So
it's so good,
so good.
and you
It's
just
so much
giggling
fun.
away. Oh man, I
yeah,
teared. I
But
teared
here's
watching it.
what's so crazy about this too is that, that character, this was what, 6 years ago, 5 years ago that I shot that. And that character was like a 60-year-old cancer patient. And people are like, why are you playing 60-year-olds? Why are you playing 80? Like, why are you going? I'm like, I don't care, because it's not about what they say you are. It's what you bring to the character. It's what you get to do with it. If they give you a chance to do something, do it. Do it your way, but do it. People are like, oh, you shouldn't take these roles. You shouldn't do the accent. You shouldn't do this. I'm like, I'm not saying no. I will do it my way, but I'm not saying no. Someone wants me to do an accent. I'm an actress. That's my job. What accent you want? You want Indian? You want British? You want French? What do you want? I got you.
Playing pretend is what you do. That's
Exactly. I play pretend for a living. Come on, how lucky am I? And I play pretend in a way that makes people's lives different. It's not just me playing pretend for myself. It's such a joy and an honor, and I'm like, yeah, love it. But yeah, that show, I would have loved for that show to go on. I would have loved to come back in flashback or something like that. That show would have been a fun one to go on. I wish more people, play-wise and musical-wise, I wish more people had seen Bombay Dreams when we did that on Broadway. I think it was a little bit too early in the American culture for it to go well here. The Brits had a lot of experience at the time with Bollywood, and it was very successful over there. And we only got to run for like a year on Broadway because there was just not as much familiarity with South Asian culture here in America. But it was a really fun, splashy, like just a fun show to do. Really, really fun show to do.
I think it would go a lot different nowadays.
100% would go a lot different.
Yeah.
Would totally go a lot different. But you know,
Say lovey.
yeah, had to move on, do other things.
Do you have any that you don't want to get in trouble? Mementos from set that may have gone home with you? Anything you kept for yourself over the years?
Oh yeah, I have a kukri from a play that I did, and a dulled dagger hand knife from a play that I did called Roof of the World. And this is one of my favorite play experiences that I've ever done. It was written by my friend D. Tucker Smith. Absolutely stunning show about an Indian spy for the British and a British explorer who fall in love during the time of the British Raj. And so I had to do some stage combat and like swinging from the rafters and all sorts of crazy stuff. And one of the things I had to do was wield a kukri effectively. So on my own time, I trained with it, and I trained with my like training kukris, which were just like made of wood or whatever. And then at the end of the show, that kukri man walked away. And then I bought myself a real one because if you know how to use one, you might as well have one.
Yeah, home defense, you know.
It's a very useful weapon. You can cut coconuts with it. You can cut people with it. You really have a choice. You can do whatever you want with it. So those two, yes. I have been allowed to take home variety of costume pieces over the years, which has been great because I hate shopping. I know I'm a gal who hates shopping. It's a rarity, unless it's for dice. What else have I taken that or has walked away with me? I think that's pretty much it. I live one of my Achilles heel is that I live in fear of getting in trouble. Even if I had done nothing wrong, I'm always afraid that I'm going to get in trouble. I'm very much I got to obey the rules. I don't care if no one's watching. I'm going to be a good girl. So between that and being like, I can't lie, I'm really, really bad at it. Which God bless him, my husband didn't quite believe that because I was an actress. And then the first time he saw me try to lie, he was like, oh yeah, you're right. That's sad.
See,
you're really bad at
it. Acting is lying, but you get paid to do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's a difference.
But this is the fun thing. Like, I think a lot of people say acting is lying. It's not. It's telling the truth as someone else. There's a big difference.
I like that.
You know?
I'm sorry, there is a question from the chats. Charles says, are there any other video game voices coming up that you can talk about?
That I can talk about. Let me think.
Or that you can't talk about, but you'll do it anyway. I mean, either way.
Yeah, I want to keep my job, so no. I don't think there are any that I can talk about. I will say that there are a couple coming out that I'm really excited about. I have my two first experiences with full body motion capture are in the works right now. Two really very different characters that I'm excited about. I did facial capture for Apex, so that was me, and we actually did that while we were in lockdown, which is a fun story because they sent the camera and the headset and the rig and the whole thing to the house, and then we zoomed for them to show me how to put it together, and then I'm like running around the house with dots on my face pretending to jump out of planes and stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, so I'm excited about those two coming out.
So I want real quick so for people that play Apex, I occasionally do.
Yeah, that's my face.
When they're playing with you, all those were shot in her house. Everything you do in the game.
Not all of them. Like
some of the actions.
The facial capture.
Right.
So a lot of the facial expressions were based on me. Like I don't have the tooth gap, but her crooked smile. I always used to hate the fact that I have a little bit of a crooked smile. And then I saw it on her face and I was like, oh my God, that's my crooked smile. It looks cute on her. Okay.
It
I don't hate
works.
it anymore.
It works.
That I can handle. So that's how I figured out. I was like, oh yeah, they did use it. Cool. That is me. So that's fun. I appreciate that they did that. So yeah, those two things are coming out. Overwatch 2. I don't think that's any secret that that's coming out. And I did not get replaced as Symmetra. I don't think that's news. So thankfully I can say that. yeah, nothing else I'm allowed to talk about.
Well, we're
It's
gonna
funny.
have to have you come back when you
Yeah, no,
can talk
please
about
do.
it.
Because also, like I was saying, I'm really bad at like I'm really good at keeping secrets, partly because I choose to forget things. I have an uncanny knack for forgetting what I am working on or forgetting what I worked on like the day before. People are like, "So what are you working on right now? Or what's going on in your life?" I'm like, "Oh, this. Oh, I forgot. I wrote a book." Like like that stuff will happen
Yes,
all the time.
which
Uh,
great segue because I want to touch on that. I do
oh,
want to touch on
cool,
that.
sure.
And what I was going to say is we're going to take a moment if you allow me. We're going to get a little
Please.
deep. We're going to get a
Okay.
little dark, a little somber sometimes on this, as much as the fun pop culture stuff and the movies and the Marvels and all the games, we do talk about mental health and
Yeah.
because it's something I do believe in. I suffer from PTSD and I was wounded in combat and these things. So you wrote this book, and I I I can't do it justice. I want you to share it with the people because only you can do it the way you can. But let the people know the book and what it's about, and because I thought it was beautiful. I really did.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that means a lot to me because that was the whole reason I made it is for other people. So the book is called, well, the book is based on a series of the same name. It's a web series called I Am Fun Size and So Are You. And the reason I started that web series is not because I am a petite human. The reason I started that web series is because when I think we talked about it a little bit, that when I fell in love with the gaming audience, just the audience of people who were so lovely online, but particularly I started to connect with them the most when Overwatch first came out, and people were so generous with their art and with their time and with their kindness and with their support, and a lot of people were DMing me personal questions. And I am not a doctor, just play them on TV. So I did not feel comfortable saying like, well, this is what you should do, or maybe you should check this out about mental health. And yet, for me too, because I've struggled with a lot of mental health issues through my lifetime as well, and we all have our demons that we've all had to work through for better or for worse. And one of my big goals of going through things, or one of the ways that I feel like I've been able to cope with difficulty in my life is to remind myself, okay, this really sucks right now, but the one thing that you will walk away from this with is compassion for people going through the same thing. So remember what you're going through, remember how it feels, remember how you get out of it, because someone somewhere is going to need that someday. So flash forward to when people are being so generous with me after Overwatch, I decided that the one thing that I do have to offer people that no one else has to offer is my personal set of experiences and how I've lived through them, for better or for worse, whether gracefully or ungracefully, however it's happened. Because something went right because I'm still here. So I'm relatively successful at being a human. So I started this series where people would send in questions to my public email address, which incidentally is Anjali at IamFunsize.com. Feel free to hit me anytime. People would write in questions, and I said the same thing. Don't ask me questions about Symmetra. You can find that out online. Ask me what you need to ask me. And while I wouldn't give advice because that's not my place, I would say I don't know if this might help you, but this is my experience with this thing, and let me share what happened when this happened for me and what worked and what didn't work. And then it became a thing, and people really enjoyed the show and enjoyed the answers, and it made me think a lot about how I managed through so many difficult times. And it forced me to be accountable to myself as well, to be like, okay, well, you've been telling other people about this experience. Now you live it. Now you be the person that you want them to be. You be the person you want to see in the world. So it's a very long way around. A lot of people had told me that they wanted me to write a book similar to the series. And so last year I did. And the goal of the book, the full name is I Am Fun Size and So Are You, Thoughts from a Tiny Human on Living a Giant Life. And the whole fun size concept to me is it's not just for candy bars and short people. It's all of us. All of us are fun size. All of us are built for these fun, magnificent, huge lives. But the world has a funny way, life has a funny way of making us feel very small sometimes and scared and sad and worst of all, alone. And the number one goal with this book is to let people know no matter what you are going through, no matter how unique your circumstances are, you are not alone. There's always someone there who has either been through something similar and can help you, who is there with a shoulder to cry on, who is there with a joke to make you laugh, who is there just holding your hand, who is there with a flashlight to help you out of the cave, whatever. There's always someone there. And the world would miss you desperately if you were gone, because without you here, we don't get the unique expression of you that is you. So I basically took all of the episodes from the show and wrote a much bigger version of the experiences that I have had that led me to a lot of the concepts that I talk about. Whether it's about, one of my favorite sections is how the hell do I love myself? Because no one teaches you. Everybody's like, well, you have to learn to love yourself before you can love everyone else. I'm like, great, thanks. I'm fucked because I don't know how to love myself. I don't even like myself. What do I do? When you're in a dark place, that's the worst thing you want to hear. I'm doomed and I don't like myself. Thanks so much. But I learned how to love myself by watching how I loved my dog and how I loved the other people in my life. So no, you don't. It's a simple way to do it, but it's not easy. And so the whole book basically is little vignettes, little sections, some longer than others, some stories from my life, some observations, and lots of adorable drawings of me and my dog. Because as you saw, my dog is ridiculously cute, and he too provides some wisdom in the book because I learned a lot from that little furry Buddha that lives in my life, and you learn a lot from loving someone or something else. You really do. So we ran a Kickstarter last year, and it was thankfully very successful. And now the book is going to be coming out in the fall. So stay tuned. Watch me on the socials. I'll let y'all know when it's happening, when it's official, and then you can all send me messages or buy it on the, I don't know, the Kindle, wherever it shows up. It's going to show up a bunch of places, and Kindle, wherever. Not now. Don't do it now. Do not. But eventually it will be there, and I'm very excited about it. I'm excited to share it with the world because the few people who have already read it because of the Kickstarter have really had a really positive reaction to it, and a lot of people, even the web series, people have. It's been very, very, very touching to me, the things that people have told me, and I think it's just more testimony that the more of your pain you can turn into someone else's comfort, the better. It makes it so much easier to handle the pain that life throws at you. I mean, you guys know better than most people that there are awful, awful things that we might have to see in the world. There are awful, awful things that we might have to experience. And it is very hard some days to want to be here. It is very hard some days not to just check out. But the courageous act is sticking around because someone needs you. That's the most courageous act, is sticking around at that moment. So that's what the book's about.
I'm going to clip all of that, and on my rainy days, on my blue days, I'm gonna play that, and my spirit is uplifted, and
Oh,
I truly mean that. I'm not blowing smoke. I truly mean it. I echo and I agree with everything you stated. And we got to figure. I'd love to buy a bunch of the books. Maybe you sign them. I'd love to give them away to my audience.
dude, let's definitely have a conversation because
would
here's another
love to
thing.
do
I'm doing a lot of book signings all over the country when it happens. And so when we get closer to the release date, I will definitely have my folks hit you up and let's see if we can do something, some kind of event for your viewers or something. And I'm very happy to donate copies. I mean, like I said, what you guys do for us, I wouldn't be able to live the life that I live without you guys. So
appreciate it. I want to tell you some of the comments because obviously I'm not going to stop the show every time you're getting inundated with positive comments.
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay, phew.
Sorry.
I was like, oh no, don't freeze now.
you're getting just inundated with positive comments, and I can't stop the show every time. But people, amazing title for your book. She may replace my all-time favorite guest. You are now all-time favorite guest for the show. I got guys saying they're gonna replay Uncharted just so they can listen out for your voice.
Well, that one's gonna be a tough one because I'm like random Indian person speaking Hindi in the back on that one, so that might be a tough. Play Uncharted 4 because it's awesome, but don't listen for me because you might not find me.
So you're getting a ton of love.
Well, I'm very grateful for that, you guys. Like I said, I mean, I'm not blowing sunshine up you guys' asses. I'm serious when I say what you may not hear it enough. And I know that I will never understand the hardship that so many of you go through while you're being deployed, afterwards, everything that you've dealt with. But I am one of so many people who are wildly, wildly grateful for what you have chosen to do for us.
And I just want to say I'm getting a private message, and someone just wants to let you know that they really needed to hear that. Uh,
Mm.
that's all. They just
Well,
want you to know that they really needed to hear that, and you made it just
now you guys are gonna make me cry.
just that one. And as I said, even if you can just reach that one, you know,
That's it, right? That's the point.
yeah.
That's the point.
Beautiful. I don't want to hold you much longer. You want to do a quick, fun lightning round, and then we'll call it a night.
Lightning round. Let's do it.
All
Let's do
right.
it. Lightning round to match my lightning tattoo. Let's do it.
What's been the craziest fan interaction you've ever had?
Someone asked me to sign their arm, and then they went and got a tattoo of it. That was pretty crazy. And then I got to see the bloody tattoo of what I signed.
Okay.
It wasn't my signature. It was like a voice line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be a little. Although I do have friends who have had that experience too, so it's crazy when it
I'd
happens.
imagine.
That was a pretty big one.
Worse is if hey, can you sign as your character, and then they get the tattoo like Auntie Ruby, and they get that tattooed.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, but the last thing you want is your own. I don't want you don't want my signature on your arm. You want your signature on your arm. You're you.
Have you ever been starstruck working with someone?
Oh, so many times.
Biggest one.
Yeah, the most embarrassing one was when I met the late great Alan Rickman. It was when I was doing a show on Broadway, and we were both at the Drama League Awards or some Drama League luncheon, and I saw him, and he was doing Private Lives on Broadway at the same time, and I was like, "This is my chance. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna introduce myself to Alan Rickman. It's gonna be amazing." And I walked up to him, and I immediately lost the ability to speak the English language. I swear to you, this is what the conversation sounded like. How does yeah? Hi, Mr. Rickman. Hi, Mr. Rickman. My name's Anjali. I'm in this show, and God bless him. I know he wasn't making the Snape face, but I was seeing the Snape face because I was like, "What are you doing, Anjali? You are a giant failure as a human being." And God bless him. I do remember him saying, "Oh yes, I very much want to see that." And then I was just like slunk off with my tail between my legs. But super, super starstruck. Super, super, super. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you there? There we go.
Back.
I don't know why my mail program decided to kick in and just like take over the computer.
Uh,
So yeah, that one was a big one.
That's
A really big one. I did just 2 days ago meet a bunch of the cast members of Ted Lasso, and that kind of blew me away. I did have a moment. I got to present with one of the cast members, present an award with him, and I was just like, "You guys are the greatest thing ever in the history of ever!" Like wearing this beautiful cocktail dress and jewelry, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you guys!" I just turned into a big dork.
fangirling out. I love it.
Great.
If you weren't acting, you would be.
It would be something to do with dogs. That would be happening for sure. Some kind of like dog relief, not dog relief, but like rescue organization. Dog relief sounds like I'm taking them out to, do their business outside. That animals, absolutely. I do think it would be something in the mental health profession. I really do. I think part of my love of acting is my curiosity about the human condition and how we tick and how we take care of ourselves and how we take care of each other. And I really think it's important that we take care of ourselves so we can take care of each other. I think we forget that.
Yes.
I think we think that we have to take care of other people before we take care of ourselves, but we're useless if we can't like put your oxygen mask on first. You have to. They tell us all that on the plane. So yeah, I think it probably would be something in the mental health profession. See, I can't escape being a doctor. One way or the other, I would probably still do it.
Circling around it. What qualities do you admire in other actors?
Humility, generosity, like in terms of wanting to be like collaborative generosity. Like we talked about, knowing that you are not the center of the universe, and humor, like the ability to take your work seriously but not take yourself seriously is I feel like the most famous and talented people I have ever met are the least egotistical. And I think that's because there is a part of them that understands that this is not about them. And it's really, and all of us think it's about them, right? Like it's just the most extraordinary. How could you not know how amazing you are? But that's precisely why they're so amazing, because they don't know or they don't care. They're just like, no, I'm just here to do the job. I'm here to hang with you. I'm here to make you look better. I'm here to play with you. That's very admirable to me.
We'll end on something most people don't know about you.
I am an expert parallel parker. I am a legendary parallel parker. I am so good at parallel parking that I have taken pictures of my parallel parking jobs just to remind myself on a dark day, you're good at something. It's parallel parking. It might not be the thing you want to be good at today, but you are good at something.
Is that like
I auditioned for a giant movie once, and I went to the audition, and my parallel parking job beforehand was so great that I didn't care how I did at the audition. I was like, look at my parallel parking job. Took all these pictures and everything. I was like, screw the movie. Look what I did. So yeah, that's pretty proud of that one.
That's the hands of a surgeon, right? You know,
hands of a surgeon gone to waste because I'm not saving lives. I'm just parking my car.
Love it. Anjali, where can people follow you? Where can they show support? You know, tease anything that you can coming up that they can check it out.
Sure. Well, I'm like I said, my email address is very easy. It's Anjali at iamfunsize.com. Not funsized, funsize.com. And then on the socials, you can find me at Sweet Anj, but with 3 E's because I'm a big spelling rebel. SWEEETANJ. Sweet Anj on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, which is also where the I Am Fun Size series is. And then on Facebook, it's Anjali Bhimani. Dude, if you Google me, you can probably find my home address. Everything's out there. And in terms of supporting, it really is just keep an eye out for I Am Fun Size stuff because it's coming. It's coming soon. It's probably the thing that means the most to me at the moment because of what I feel like it might be able to do for people. So showing your support for that would mean the world to me. I mean, yes, come see the things that I'm in. When you hear about them, I'm on a show. Please watch Ms. Marvel. Please check out the games. Please become a critter and play TTRPGs for the rest of your life. Please do that. But most of all, I just love having people be part of my community and say hi online. I love meeting new people. So please don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. And I said this, I know I said this already, and I'm sorry, but I really have to.
Please.
Especially to you guys. I know how hard life can be. Please know that the biggest act of bravery is that we need you here. And we don't need you because you're in the military. We need you because you're you. So if no one else has told you this, please know you would be wildly missed if you were gone. And if you are having trouble, reach out to someone because someone else will tell you that in a heartbeat.
That is so true. And you have one more question, which I'll answer for you. Will she do the audiobook version? Of course she'll do the audiobook version.
Are you kidding? I actually recorded the audiobook for the Kickstarter, and it was one of the most fun experiences of my life because the book reads like a conversation with me, for better or for worse. The book, I wrote it like that. So getting it to say these words to you guys, getting to say it to the people who are reading it was just loads of fun. Loads and loads and loads of fun. And I'm getting some of the other, Marisha Ray, who wrote the introduction. She's in Critical Role. She is doing the introduction in the audiobook. Yeah, like there's a whole, it's coming. That is definitely coming. 100%.
This has been one of my absolute all-time favorite conversations.
Oh,
thank you so much. Guys, what's left to be said? We're gonna have her back. You are now a friend of the show forever.
Please, you guys, please, because we have to figure out what your fans' names are.
we're gonna
figure this out. No, this is a thing. I'm on a mission.
Yes, it's a puzzle. It's a Rubik's Cube. We're gonna figure it out. Guys, this has been Anjali Bhimani. Find her everywhere, support her everywhere, keep an eye out for her. We'll share your stuff as it comes out, let the people know that it's there, and we'll definitely have you back for part 2 because there's so much we didn't talk about. There's so much.
I mean, I had such a lovely time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for just a really great way to spend an evening.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm going to go say goodbye to Anjali. I'm going to toss to a break. We'll see you more.
That was a terrible salute. I'm so embarrassed that I just did that. That was awful. I'm embarrassed. Don't be offended. I don't know even why I did that. That was probably the dorkiest thing I did all night.
You're in the medical profession. We'll let it go.
Pretend that didn't happen. Delete that from your memory banks.
All right, guys, I'm gonna toss to a break. I will be back with more right after this.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, alright? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm gonna bring in my co-host, Mr. Radar. Where you at, buddy?
Hey, I'm back.
Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar.
That was Anjali Bhimani, everybody. God,
That
how
was a good show.
awesome was she? Oh,
That was amazing.
God bless. What'd you think, Radar? What were your thoughts?
I was floored. I was absolutely floored, and almost kind of brought to a little bit of tears there when she was talking about her book and stuff, and that was really
Mm.
I like that.
The
That was nice.
feels, man. I had the feels.
I did
I
too.
had the feels.
And I'm still in birthday mode. I don't need no feels. Need no feels.
I just
No, she's stunning, absolutely stunning actress, and yeah, definitely up there with the top guests that we've had. Just so charismatic and full of life and fun, and I cannot wait till she comes back on.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see what other things she does. And because obviously you can never talk about the things you're working on, all these things that are upcoming that haven't been announced, but like whatever she does, I can't wait to see it. I just can't wait
Right.
to see it. Be like, I know her. We're
Mhm.
buddies. We're buddies. I got nothing. I got nothing. Like that was I wanna. There's a thing in stand-up comedy where they're like, if you're in the middle of your set and you hit a joke that for whatever reason just blows the top off the place, they literally tell you, just say goodnight and walk off. Like you're not gonna do better. You're not
Yep.
like you're not. So just cut it there. And I feel like we nailed it. Radar, would you tell the fine folks at home what they can expect here on a typical week of WTF Nation Radio?
Well, a typical week includes us, him CQ, and me Radar right here on Tuesday nights for Pop Culture Warrior. We try to have guests that are that phenomenal every week and come back for more. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Dawn's a day of no scheduled activities. Soon to be the smoke pit. But anyway, right now we got nothing on Wednesdays. Thursdays, Sergeant's time, ICE, Spanky, Sergeanting, Big Army, National Guard, Reserves, retirees, all the Army stuff. Okay. Friday, it's Friday Night Freedom, Kaz and Pookie. They'll be talking about all kinds of fun and happy shit. It's a good show. Check them out. Saturday and Sunday is the weekend. No scheduled activities. We're off, baby. Don't worry about us. Don't call us. We're going to be with our fam. Now, Monday, the aptly named Monday edition happens every Monday. I know. Crazy, right? But they'll be here. Be Ice and Shipwreck or Ice and Mom or Ice and someone will be here Monday for you and everyone else's entertainment. Now, Tuesday after Monday, the same day as today, it's Pop Culture Warrior with him, CQ, me, Radar. Will be here every freaking week.
Every week.
Every week. Baby. Well,
Forever.
most of the week.
Most weeks. Man. Sorry, I'm still just like, fuck, that was good.
You're good, buddy. I get it, man. I
That was good.
understand it.
You just hit all the right buttons.
It was great. It was fantastic.
'Cause
It
you
was
guys know I'm obviously
Mhm.
all about pop culture and shit, but like I do have a very soft spot for mental health. For I always look at it as like leave the world better than you found it. Right? You ain't gotta change the world, but if everybody just does a little bit better, the world would change. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
So I just love what she's doing, and you know how easy is it for an actress? Fucking hey, do your job, get paid. You know, fucking spend your money, do your thing. Like she doesn't need to
No,
put this
she doesn't need
stuff
to
out
care.
there. Yeah, put this stuff
She
out
doesn't
there
need to
that's
care. I
trying
mean,
to help
honestly.
people. Like
Yep.
fucking a man, gold star, gold star.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. I like I said, I could not have been more pleased.
well, you know, I
With
live to
show.
please you, Radar. You know that.
I know, buddy. Now, we need to talk about something else that was
Sure.
very pleasing to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yesterday was my birthday,
Yes.
and I got one of the coolest birthday presents in the world. I opened my mailbox, and I had a bag of coins, most of which I had purchased, but one was a present from my buddy CQ over there, and I love them. I absolutely love them. I need to figure out who's worthy of getting them from me. But it was seriously, they came. I had kind of a rough morning. Came and opened my mailbox, and it was one of the coolest presents I got. So thanks, buddy.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yep.
You've earned it, man. You've earned it.
Yep.
Keith in the chat says he got his. I know Charles got his.
Now I want to throw this out there though. If somebody else wants to make somebody out there as happy as I was opening my mailbox, those are available for order.
Yeah. Just
Hit
reach
us up
out
on
to
the
us.
socials.
Reach out to us on socials, man.
Yeah.
We're happy to send them out with
Yeah.
and I'm like gonna throw in other little nifty little things that I have. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, with my Vato shirt on.
This has been just a wonderful episode, guys. Keep tuning in. Thank you so much for always being part of the show. You know, your questions matter. Just the fact I see your guys' chats. You make this what it is. You make it fun.
Right.
So thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in, for watching, for supporting, for letting us just be stupid and nerdy and geeky and silly and fun and vulgar and all the things. Don't have any guests to announce yet. We're circling the drain on a couple. We're just figuring out dates.
That sounds not good. That sounds not good.
That sounds bad.
We're dotting some I's and crossing some
There you
T's.
go. Yes,
That
we
sounds
are.
bad.
We are trying to figure out dates. Is the vague way of saying that. I'll tell you just a quick funny story.
Well, people are busy.
Yeah.
This time of year.
It's
hard to
it
lock
gets,
people
yeah,
down.
it gets busy. I will say that I've got a couple things just because like I like doing things. So I'll be going in September to Alabama. So if anybody's in Alabama, let me know. I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods. I'm gonna be in Bama for a couple days in September to do, of all things, scuba diving, air rifle, competitive shooting, kayaking, and something else. I don't know, archery or something like that.
Is that like a
It's a thing I'm doing.
thing?
It's a thing I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing. And then so obviously I'll share it all on social media. I'll make it a thing. In October, I'll be in New York City. New York City. I'll be in New York City attending New York Comic Con, the second largest Comic Con in the country. So I'll be doing that and be shooting some awesome footage there. November, I'll be in Elmira, New York for Twin Tiers Comic Con.
November,
November.
like Veterans Day. I think you have something else happening.
Yes. Speaking of which, I mean, we're still not 100% sure on the date. I will let you know as soon as it's locked in, but tentatively, supposedly, allegedly, November 11th for Veterans Day will be a special episode of Family Feud, and your boy CQ representing up in the feud. So you can catch me on Family Feud in November. I'm gonna do like a crazy watch party. I'll probably post some pictures of it. Like I'm gonna have like multiple screens, like do like an inflatable with a projector, and like do a big watch party at my place. Have some fun with it. Keith says, I think we may be at New York Comic Con. Let me know if you're gonna be at New York Comic Con. Fucking, we'll link up. We'll do something. We'll shoot some shit. We'll have a blast. I'll see what behind the scenes stuff I used to. Side story. 5, 6, 7 years. I used to do work at New York Comic Con. I used to have a booth. I won't talk. Like, this is long time ago. And I used to have like really good connections at New York Comic Con. Like that's back when like I knew Norman Reedus before he got all famous and shit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been back to a New York Comic Con in years, so I'm really excited to go back this year. But anyway, enough jabbering on. This has been an incredible night. One for the books, one I will remember for a long time. I will keep you guys updated. I can't say anything. I'm going to leave you on this tease. I'm working on something that's huge. Huge. Like game changer huge. And I won't talk about it until it's firmed up, but it is trending.
Same.
It is trending in a very good direction. It is trending in a very good direction, and more to come soon. So, all right, guys.
Same.
Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. You know where to find us. Hit us up on all the socials. This has been WTFNR/radar on Facebook. I'm, of course, CQ, Pop Culture Warrior everywhere. WTF Nation Radio, coming at you live. We'll be bringing you more very soon. Say goodnight, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
Catch you guys next week. Shuts.
Slay.